And whatever you do, don't let it fall into the wrong hands.
I just realised that my ideals and my flaws goes against each other.
That's good, that's fine. How do they go against each other?
Most people.
I always try to help those in need, no matter what the personal costs, I'm good. And then the flaws is, I'm suspicious of strangers and expect the worst of them.
That's great. So you have this sort of inner conflict between like, I want to help them, but I'm suspicious of whether they deserve it or whether it's going to result in me getting injured or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't
Complexity.
go in with a clear conscience, you go in reluctantly.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing is we're going to take your stats down so that I can refer to them more easily.
Yeah.
First thing is your AC. So let's do Medela first, just because I can't do two things at once.
Yeah.
So your AC is 16, is that what you said?
Yes.
And the next thing is let's go to the spell page, which is the back page. And the spell save DC is 9, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, so AC is 9. And then your modifier is +1. Cool. And now
What does the CHA stand
that's
for?
charisma. Like as a paladin, you do most of your class abilities with charisma. So for example, when you're casting a spell, it's the charisma stat that you measure against.
Oh, shit.
But that's okay,
I have the
because-
lowest charisma that I could.
But that's kind of cool. Like it's not, I mean, traditionally you would have higher, and maybe after this session, if you don't like the way it works out, we can change it.
Yeah.
But it often makes for some of the most interesting characters when your key stat is like one of your lowest stats.
Yeah.
Because it means that you're put in these situations where you try to do things and you fail and you have to sort of like find another way. So we'll see how it plays out.
Okay.
But you do have a high like strength or something?
Yes.
Is that right? Is that your highest one?
Is that?
Oh no, that's your
Oh.
HP. That's tons of HP.
Strength is 13 and then it's +1.
Strength is plus
Just a
7.
ridiculous amount of HP, right?
Yeah. Well, it's because you got +3 Constitution. That's so interesting. So you're this huge, just like, how do I describe it? Like, substantial? Like, what's a really substantial human being? Like Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
You have like
The mountain that walks.
Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to your actual ability to cast something, you get a little distracted. You focused on your like physical strength, and then you have strength +1, and what's your +2? Dexterity. So you're this really thick, nimble person, but you're
The
not.
Witcher.
Yeah, a little bit like The Witcher. Yeah, but you're not very nice at talking to people.
No.
And
Because
yeah,
I've spent so long in the temple that I have little practical experience dealing with people in the outside world.
there you go. Perfect. And the next thing is your passive perception, which is on that bottom left. So what does passive perception say?
Passive intelligence?
Perception.
Perception, wisdom. 10.
10, perfect. Okay, that should be all I need for the moment. Next up is one punch. It's going to be so funny to say.
That's going to be my signature move.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what monks do. You know what we could call you for short? We could call you OP. Which also means like overpowered. Yeah. Okay, so
OP for short.
what's your armor class?
My armor class is 14.
Nice. And then your spell save DC you don't have.
Just
But it was
weird.
11.
Looking.
It was 11 on one of those abilities, wasn't it? So if you go to your abilities, monks don't really have much. So anytime it is mentioned, it's mentioned like in the spell.
DC 11.
Okay. So we'll do 11 unless we hear otherwise. So I'll put it in brackets. Next one is your ability modifier. I think that's also something that's described in the spell, so that's fine. We'll leave that for a moment. And passive perception on the front page, bottom left.
Passive perception 11.
Cool. Okay, that should do for that section.
I got 16 dexterity though.
That's a lot. I mean, for a monk, they rely on dexterity. So for a monk, dexterity is kind of like, for a paladin, it's a little bit different. So your paladin stuff is based on charisma, but paladins also do a lot of hitting, and that's based on strength. So paladins kind of have two, monks tend to have dexterity, and then anything else is kind of free for all. Cool. All right. Let's do a little intro. Unless anyone. Oh, actually, you should choose your dice first.
Oh yeah, pick a color.
Black.
Okay. So you grab all the black ones, and you keep them in a little area on your area.
We'll do the yellow ones so it's easy to separate the two.
And then you can just put the blue ones up at the other end of the table. Nice.
Is this here to be red?
Yeah, if you guys want to reference something and for some reason you don't want to use your phone, that has everything that you would possibly
This is
need.
new, right? What have you? Because I've never seen this out.
Sometimes I don't bring it out if I don't think people are going to use it, but if they do, then it's there. So for example, if someone else's turn and you want to look something up before your turn comes up, then you can try this, or you can use your phone.
This is a very nice book, by the way.
Yeah, it is nice.
Some cool artwork in here.
Yeah, that's kind of the origin of D&D is kind of these big book things.
The codex.
Yeah.
Codex.
Yeah, exactly. And it used to just be a series of tables. Okay, cool. So, I'll do the intro first, and then I'll talk a little bit about your, this thing that you've been wanting to find to do with the aquamarine.
Oh yeah.
But I'll do the intro first.
Yep.
Okay. As descendants of an elemental bloodline, your appearance and identity have made you second-class citizens in the city of Orphea, where you've taken up residence. As war with the neighboring elemental kingdom has been brewing for a number of years. So naturally, as people that they associate with the enemy, they see you suspiciously. But before the war started brewing, it was kind of like, yeah, let's all live in this multicultural city together. But now that the relations have gone diplomatically south, it's like, ooh, could they be spies? Naturally, you spent most of your time, the last few years, adventuring and exploring the lands that surround Orphea to stay away from those dark looks and sort of occasional slurs as you walk past. Choosing to travel as a pair, because you're both of the same sort of bloodline, for safety more than anything else, you noticed a messenger approaching your campsite. They're dressed in Orphea's white and gold colors. And you see them like approach the campsite. You're sitting at a campsite, you're in a forest, you've just finished your latest adventure. What do you do?
Well, so we know they're messengers. We can tell by how they
Are dressed, and from your hometown. Or at least the hometown that you've held most recently.
Well, I feel like,
We're wondering what they're doing there.
yeah, but they probably, if it's a messenger, they probably want to have a chat.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just walk up to our camp if they want to kill us.
No.
So let's not escalate the situation. Let's
No,
let's
I think
let's just
we
chill.
want to know
Yeah.
what they want to.
So yeah.
They're about 15 feet away now, and they look like they're about to talk to you.
Okay. Are we kind of sitting around a campfire type thing?
Yeah.
So I'll stand up in a greeting kind of manner,
Okay.
not in a I'm about to fight
In an
them,
aggressive
but
manner.
just so they recognize their approach,
And I'm sitting still
giving them the
just there because I'm a bit suspicious.
Okay, cool.
So I'm like,
Your enormous frame is just like hulking over the fire. Biceps the size of the log that you're sitting on.
yeah.
Like with a constitution of +3, it's at least Vin Diesel levels. Okay. So he even though you stand up very like cautiously and slowly, you see the messenger still like flinches a little bit and starts to like lose the composure on his face. And he says, "What ho? Hello, I have a message." And you make an insight check, please.
Let's see this. Just to remind me, the inside check is
Most of them are there. If I say something check, it's usually there.
+1.
Yeah, unless I say make a raw blah blah check, and then you use these.
Yeah, that's right. So if you look, just so you know, if you look at this, you see inside, for example,
Yeah.
you have +2. So if he told you to roll,
Yeah.
then you roll the d20. In this case, I got 15, and then I have +1, so I have 16.
Okay, you can tell easily that this person is nervous, suspicious of you. What's the word? Flighty, like if you see a rabbit in a field,
Yeah,
that
right.
kind of thing.
So he's scared of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he says, "What ho? I have a message. Please allow me to read it, and I'll be on my way." And he starts to like unfurl his scroll, and he says, "You've been called to defend the capital from an elemental threat." And he looks up, kind of like with eyes that are kind of a bit like, "This is awkward." And he says, "Please return to the capital immediately. for your allocated roles, Orphea needs you. Yours, Orpheus. And then he realizes he forgot all the titles, and then scrolls it down again and says, leader of the realm, king of the castle, man residing in the tower. And then he turns to go away. And you would know that even for a messenger that really only needs to give a message, leaving so abruptly is kind of a bit rude and weird. And he starts to walk away kind of hurriedly. What do you do?
Okay, just because I'm horribly awkward in social situations, I start just doing this on the spot, tramping on the spot, just to kind of.
Okay, he starts to look over his shoulder and run faster. Get!
I don't say that. All right. Well, then I don't think.
I think we need to discuss this now.
Yeah.
What just happened?
Yeah. He's not going to help us. So we can just let him fuck off.
Yeah.
Right.
You hear birds tweeting. There's a little brook babbling nearby. It's a very idyllic spot.
I mean, what are they going to do if we don't?
Yeah. In our experience, do we know is there a death penalty if you're summoned to will they hunt you down and kill you?
Make a history check. You can both make one.
By the way, I'm some sort of sage kind of thing. I'm just wanting to check to see.
Oh, you're a researcher, right?
Yeah.
So that means if there's a piece of lore that you don't know, you would know probably where to find it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But it doesn't give me a.
No, it just means narratively, if you fail a check, for example,
Then I can.
you still probably don't fail, you know where you probably would find the answer.
Okay. So history and 20.
Yep,
This is the 20, isn't
that's
it?
the one.
Yeah.
It's the one with the most sides.
15 and I have +1.
Okay, so that's a 6.
20.
Oh, natural 20. Okay. You guys both recall with razor sharp clarity that Orphea is not really a death penalty type place sometimes, but that's mostly for murderers, rapists, things like that. For not showing up to the draft of the military, for example, you'd probably have the sort of royal guard after a while sent out to try to retrieve stragglers, but it's it's more of an informal. It doesn't happen very often because people feel compelled to serve their regent. So it's like an unspoken law almost.
One more question I have regarding our characters then.
Mm-hmm.
How come we don't live with our elemental friends in that land?
Well, basically, you're not an elemental. You're a genasi, right?
Yes, okay,
Which is a
that's
descendant of a genie.
Mm.
And a genie is a creature that has it's like the combination of raw elemental energy and a mortal. So when a mortal comes too close to some sort of pool of elemental energy, sometimes they get consumed by it and they become this sort of living elemental genie creature.
Mm.
And when those creatures mate with humans or other humanoids, they produce you guys. So at some point down the line, that must have happened. And that was going to be my explanation for your aquamarine, is that your the genie in your bloodline is associated with that aquamarine because, in the world, precious stones have associations with elements. So a ruby is associated with the fire element, and an aquamarine is associated with the wind element, which I think is your background.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the only clue you've got to where your ancestry comes from. It's sort of, you're using it to try to pursue your however many generations back where the genie was introduced.
Mm.
And you've been sort of in addition to adventuring, you've been wanting to find out, looking for clues, but you don't really know how to go about it.
And that's why I'm saging, because I'm trying to learn.
You're researching, you're trying to figure it out.
So I have a black sapphire.
Ooh, nice.
What is that connected to?
Well, a black sapphire is it's a modification of, sapphire's blue, this one's black. You're not sure? Make a Arcana check.
Arcana is also the third from the top.
12.
12. You don't get the sense that it is associated with one of the traditional elements, like earth, fire, wind, water. You get the sense that it could be associated with something else, but you're not well versed in what that might be. You could look into it, but you don't know it off the top of your head. If his background is researcher, what's your background? It'll be on one of the other pages that has less. Oh, you're a what? Acolyte. Oh yes, you've been in the temple and stuff. But what are you an acolyte of?
Nature.
Oh, nature, because you're a paladin. But which oath paladin are you?
Oh yeah, it would be on the second page, I think. One of these something.
Oath of devotion.
Ooh, okay. Let me have a quick read. I know some of them like by heart, but I'm not sure what that one is. Divine help, that's cool. Lay on hands, great weapon bindings, but casting, divine smite, merge with stone. Ooh, cool. You can cast pass with a trace. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that makes so much sense now. Okay, so your constitution is what you get to cast this spell with in certain circumstances. Okay. Well, it's difficult trying made of earth or stone without expending extra movement. That's cool. Okay, so basically, you are you've been in a temple and you've been worshipping. What god would it be? What god would it be? Okay, I'll say it's the earth itself, sort of like the god of earth, sort of like the Mother Nature kind of vibe, but of earth.
That's what my thought was.
Okay, cool. So that means that you're not quite the sort of like historical intellectual that OP is.
I still have a lot to learn.
Yeah, he's
And I'm quite intelligent, but
Well-
I don't have the experience or...
it's more like
wisdom.
religious knowledge and knowledge of nature, whereas his is knowledge of sort of like his...
Scholarly kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like where he comes from and how the various societies of this land have come together. By the way, the name of the land that you're in is Drab, D-R-A-A-B. That's like the whole continent, let's say, whereas Orphea is a city, like a big city. Cool. So that's all of that.
So the elemental, is it far away from us, the elemental city?
Well, you guys were born like in Orphea, just as
So we've never really been there.
you haven't, no, but it's someone in your heritage has caused this trait to like manifest itself in you guys.
So what would happen if we so say if the two cities are at war with each other and we side with the elementals, how would our birth city...
Well, they'll fight us, won't they?
How would they handle it? Yeah, if they found out about it, you'd probably be like ostracized in some way.
But the problem here, though, right, is that we have no idea if we're even going to be accepted yet, because we grew up, and so if we go there, they're going to treat us the same as we treated, probably, you know.
Yeah.
Just because we look like them, because we were born and raised, so we can't just be like, we're with you guys, look at us. But yeah, but you're spies, right?
But I always try to help the ones that are like weaker. So if we
But we don't
actually...
know who's the weaker.
So if you say your city, I don't know who lives in the city compared to them. Well, it seems like they have other kind of powers that seem stronger to me.
Who?
So
Sorry, who are you
the-
describing?
So the other city that they're
Oh, like
asking
the
us,
elemental
elemental,
kingdom. Yeah.
yeah. How, like, what kind of people live in our city? Because we are the ones that look different.
Well, basically, the way Genasi look is that if you just saw a silhouette of them, for example, they would pass as human. It's only when you sort of look closely that the skin looks a little bit of a different sort of hue, and the hair is a little bit finer. It's just sort of like a subtle thing.
And there's a bit of a breeze around them,
Yeah, exactly.
apparently.
And you smell like freshly tilled soil.
Neat.
Because I'm thinking, like, if our city would fight the other city, would they win or would they lose?
You're just trying to choose the winning side.
No, I'm trying to think of if we stay and fight with our city because we grew up there, even though they don't like us, we will bring an advantage to them rather than disadvantage by going to the other side.
Thing is, we don't know if they will accept us on the other side. We can't just decide, let's go there and fight with them.
But the other side has just asked us to
No, our city.
Our city.
Yeah, it's your side, yeah. You've spent all this time in
sorry.
Orphea, the sort of
we're around
the humanoid city that you guys are kind of a little bit weird the last few years.
Okay.
It's just been, yeah. It's,
All of a sudden
it's
they're
been
like, oh, now it suits.
You know, imagine being.
Before you were just a minority and
Okay.
not particularly infringed upon
Okay.
or prejudiced against, but now that there's been like relationships broken down between these two kingdoms, now you're starting to be seen with more suspicion.
And
random
now
security checks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So okay, so here's kind of what I want to do, right? I feel like I kind of want to go there. I've had this urge to go to that kingdom anyway and figure shit out because you know, I guess it's a good place. It's kind of like I've exhausted most of my options in Orphea, right? Orphea is good.
Well,
That's what it's called.
Orphea's the name of the city. Yeah.
Yeah, for as far as my mission to find where I'm from, kind of thing. I feel like I've read books and shit, but I can't really get anywhere. Going to that elemental place might be neat, but we can't just wander in there again because we are the enemy to them. So I'm thinking, right? We go with the recruitment. We go and accept it because then we'll go with an army, so we don't wander in alone.
Yeah.
But we just sort of back off if we feel like I don't want to find anyone kind of thing, and then we do our thing, but then we go with them rather
So
than
we go with the military, but we do the right thing.
maybe because then we have insider info as well. Plus, we'll have people that are technically should be on our side, and also we are likely going to be the vanguard, aren't we? The guys who go up front. They're going to send us in to die first, which means that we can be up there with other losers who they want killing off. And then
We'll
have some
survive.
help. We'll survive. We have some help. We'll use them as shields,
Yeah.
and then we sneak in because then we're in the country, and we won't be sort of amped. Because if there's war times, right, sneaking about in an enemy country, even though I don't have decided to fight them, they're probably going to be suspicious of us. So it might be a neat way to get in. Maybe.
I mean, you're my bro, so I'll go with you. If we're trying to find out what your mission is, the Sapphire.
Cool. We'll do a fist bump, but I'll do it like that because she stood up and she's.
Oh yeah. Because you're.
I jump up and do a jump and a fist bump.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what's your plan?
So the plan, I guess, is to accept this recruitment thing because then also we'll get them off our backs. They're not going to be like, oh, well, you guys didn't win.
And hopefully we'll get paid as well, because
Oh.
we need a bit,
Surely there'll be some coin.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. What was your plan?
to accept this invitation.
Okay, so you're going to go back to Orphea and sort of like go through the recruitment process. Is that
Yes. Do we know kind of what that means? Are they going to take our shit and give us standard weapons and stuff? Do we know? Or they're just
based
gonna-
on your knowledge, it's pretty easy to know just based on your knowledge of the military
Yeah,
that you get assigned like a role or an area or a duty. It's not so much like the military today where they take all your shit and give you new shit.
No.
It's more like we want you to do this there.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then because then we know what they are up to too as well.
Yeah, we kind of want to know what's going on and why they're calling us
We
in.
can't just go on. and on.
Because we don't really know what, from the messenger running away, we
Yeah, he
don't
was
really know
useless.
why they're calling us in.
You know,
So we kind
don't
of
kill
want
the
to,
messenger that said, I kind of want to.
we kind of need to understand why they called us.
So you head back?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's only a couple of days journey back that lands immediately around Orphea, relatively safe. So we'll say that you travel back. And on the third day, you walk towards the city and you see its huge white and gold walls surrounding the city and the castle and tower that looms above it, where Orpheus, the king of the city, is rumored to live, even though he hasn't come down in decades. That's where he rules from. And you go through the city gates. The city guards let you in because they recognize that sort of your cloak and your clothes come from Orphea, but they look at you suspiciously and move their spears for a second and then like stand back and look at each other. There's a very sort of like uneasy feeling about it. And you see a series of queues of people leading towards the power plant, which is the thing that provides electric power to the city, that stands in the middle of the city. And you head towards it, you see all the other people dressed like you, adventurers, people with some sort of like helpful military training like blacksmiths. They're all heading towards the power plant. And you see as you get closer that the queue is forming in front of these 5 desks that are sort of in the lobby of the power plant. And the desks lead all the way into the center. And people are getting allocated roles, and they're being told where to go, and they're standing with other little groups of people ready to be sent elsewhere. And you're about 3 or 4 people from the desk about to get your allocated job. You've ended up being shuffled towards the very center of the power plant, where this huge monolithic rock sits covered in copper cables, wires leading to arcane machines you don't really understand. And they're illuminated with a white light, like this thing is pumping power out through some means. And you're 3 or 4 people from the front, about to get your roll. 2 people from the front, 1 person from the front, and I need you to both make dexterity saving throws.
It's about to blow, yo. Dexterity throw. So then you just
Saving throws, sorry, are up here.
Ah. Okay. Is it also the 20?
Yeah.
Thank you.
12, so
Plus
17.
17.
9 plus 2. 11.
Okay. Everything's going normally, and then you hear this high-pitched whining noise, like a... And then you hear a huge crashing sound from above you, and purple light envelops your vision. And you feel heat, and a gasp, and then blackness. Blackness. You open your eyes as you feel this jolt of electricity go through you. And you see an old, fairly handsome man's face. And he's got short hair, ash stains on his face, and he's looking down at you. And he says, "Hi, I'm Spark. Welcome back. And he looks kind of surprised. And you notice above you, as his face moves out of your field of vision, you see your companion, Medela, is beside you. And you look up and you see that there's a huge hole in the ceiling directly above where you were standing. And there's ash stains and like black soot marks all over this central chamber. And there's bodies around you as well, in addition to Medela's. And this thing is, the hole in the ceiling is like 15 feet wide. And the sky looks overcast, and you can stand up now if you want to.
I will.
Okay. You stand up and you notice that dark rock that had all the copper cables attached to it is no longer lit up with white light. It's just a rock.
Power.
And
The war machine.
And you seem concerned, well, you feel concerned about that. Because that's one of the scholarly pursuits you tried to understand. In addition to your heritage, you wanted to know, how does this thing work that powers our city? It's been plaguing scholars for decades. You feel that same jolt of electricity go through your body, and you see this old man's face with short hair, ash stains, and he says, "Oh," and he seems tired by somehow him touching you has caused this spark to come into you again. And he says, "Okay, come with me. I'm glad I was able to bring you 2 back. Follow me." And he just shuffles out of the room. And you notice that he shuffles his feet like he's old, and he shuffles his feet without really lifting them off the ground very much. And you see him walk out. What do you do?
Well, that's follow.
Okay.
He brought us back to one. So all the bodies around us, I was just checking. It's like dead people around us.
They
well,
look dead.
Presume.
You can make a medicine check if you want to be sure.
You're the healer.
Yeah.
Can you make a medicine check?
Yeah, I can.
Because my medicine is +1.
My medicine is plus 2.
So we can both have a look.
20.
Natural 20.
Wow, okay. Even with just a glance, you're pretty confident that they're dead. And you make the connection that if they're dead, and you were just lying with them, you must have been dead as well. So how are you here? And you understand the medical implications well, but you don't know how it's happened. And they are all definitely dead. There's a couple of gaps that look like they might have had corpses there at one point, but not anymore. Like you can see soot marks that give the outline of probably a human body, but that's what you notice. So you follow him out?
Follow.
Okay, cool. We'll get you something to eat, he says from far ahead of you. Come, we'll go to the mess area, come. And he just sort of like, even though you're already following him, he seems to feel compelled to keep talking almost to himself. And what you notice as you walk out of this corridor from the central chamber into the other chambers at the power plant is a very different sight from the way it looked when you came in. Everything was shiny and white, marble walls and gold. The gold looks like it's been mostly like scraped off. The marble is black. And there's like bodies everywhere. And as you keep going through the corridor, you start to see this makeshift kind of shanty town where a couple of like 20 or 30 people seem to be milling around. You see a child playing with like a broken doll. Everything seems to be like scraps.
How long were we on?
You don't know. Yeah, you can ask your...
Hey, old man. And I sort of try to catch up with him.
Mhm.
And I think I'm holding my hammer because I'm a bit suspicious.
You see very suspicious looks from these sort of like shantytown people in rags. Even the children are sort of like getting close to their parents and looking at you even more scared than
They used to be.
they used to be. Before you got suspicious looks, kind of like scum, look at them here. Whereas now it's like more fear, more like this is like a terrifying bear that's in our area. And they seem to be like scuttling away, hiding behind like little stalls that look like the stalls are selling meat or fresh water. And your guide takes a turn, and you wanted to go up to him.
Yeah, so I tried to catch up with him and like, hey man, what happened? How long were we out?
You should probably be sitting down for that. Come, and you've reached this sort of mess hall area, very generously named. It's just a bunch of like logs roughly arranged for people to sit. There's 3 or 4 people sitting in little clutches eating what look like, I don't know, gruel from like pieces of bark. And he says, sit down, I'll get you something. And he shuffles away towards like a little serving area. Calling it buffet, again, would be generous. And he starts to shuffle back. Eat this, and he puts these 2 bowls of like weird gruel. You notice a couple of pieces of twigs in there. It looks like it's come from some sort of tree sap mixed with who knows what. And he says, all right. It's been...
I tell you not to eat it.
And even this guy looks less suspicious of you 2 than the other people, but still he looks kind of reluctant, but you're not sure why. He says, it's been 10 years.
But
It's been 10 years since the attack. The elementals, we think, released this, and he gestures around, beam thing that destroyed Orphea. And that's when you notice that at the back of the mess hall there's a part of the wall missing, and outside you can see part of the city, except the city doesn't look like a city anymore. It looks like
rubble.
yeah, there's a lot of like semi-standing buildings. And he said, not only did it destroy this power station, the city it's basically what you see here. This shanty town is it. There's some scraps that we've been scavenging, but we think this is pretty much all the survivors we've got. I've been able to bring some people back. I don't know why, but when I spend a lot of time in that central area, sometimes when I touch people, there's a spark and they just come back. It takes months though, months. You can see this many people is pretty much how many people I've been able to bring back in 10 years. And he starts to look sad and look down like he should be eating food, but then he looks back up at you and says, you're the only ones I've been able to bring back so far that look capable. And he looks at your clothes and sees that you're more military looking people than, and he looks at you especially and goes, yeah, I mean, I've brought back hunters, artisans, families, but you're the first adventurers, let's say. Yeah, how are you? Are you feeling okay? And he looks at you like checking to see if you have any injuries.
I guess this is the first time I realized that I probably should check, so I'm checking if I'm alright. Do I have all my arms and legs? This an explosion?
You feel much weaker, like you maybe have, like, it's like recovering from a disease almost. Like you've got your HP, but you feel a bit weak. But you've got all your stuff so far as you can tell.
I should be hungry, right?
You're definitely hungry. So the gruel in front of you looks still unappetizing, but you are hungry. You can make a nature check if you want to determine whether it's safe or not.
Nature. 15 plus 3.
18.
Oh yeah, you're confident it's safe, it's just very basic.
Oh, I'm eating it.
We can eat it
And he says,
to regain some strength.
okay, you eat it, it tastes earthy, so you love it. But if you taste it, it's a bit bland for your needs. It doesn't have the delicacy of what you're used to eating. And he says, okay, I'm glad that you seem all right. Listen, I know you're tired and I've just brought you back, but I need to tell you, things are not going well, even worse than they appear. And he gestures around at the shanty town. For years, we could walk around scavenging potions or spare parts and feel confident that we'd return to the plant safely. But the last few months have been... a creature has been hunting us. Quietly at first. One every few weeks of us used to disappear, and we thought maybe they just fell down a crevasse or something. But then I saw one. Well, I saw one of its heads. And that was enough. And he starts to look a bit shaken. I ran back here as fast as I could, and for weeks now, I've been trying to bring back people like you. And he looks at your weapons. Until we're rid of this creature, our little community is basically just waiting to die.
What did the creature look like when you saw it?
It was huge. Even one of its heads looked like, and he makes a gesture like this, bigger than a barrel. That was one of its heads. I could see snaky looking neck, but way too big for a snake. I don't know. I only saw it through the gap between two buildings. But the blood around its mouth made it clear that this is where our missing people have gone. Go on.
So, I have an intuition if something is in a radius close to us.
Ooh, yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, the whole evil or good things.
Oh yeah, what's it called? Like divine sense or something?
I think so.
Detect good and evil. Until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the hollow spell or know the location of any celestial fiend undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
Okay.
You can use these feature 0 times per long rest.
I think that's meant to be 1, but because of your stats, it's like a weird thing. But try the other one. Try divine sense, which is a slightly different power.
Where is that?
So it might that'll continue on the next page. So which is
okay.
that.
And that's divine health.
Divine sense. It's usually called.
Divine sense.
There you go.
As an action, you can detect good and evil. Until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the hollow spell and know the location of any celestial
Fiend or fae.
fiend undead within 60 feet.
Okay, it's more or less the same thing.
Yeah.
But I guess that applies when if we are out there and we
Yeah.
want to know if something is around us.
Yeah.
Not necessarily from where we are now.
So I'm thinking
It's a
because of-
shorter range than you anticipated, basically.
Yeah. But all of these walls being open and not having like a safer place.
Yeah, you can totally use it.
Like, first of all, they need to consider like how are they like.
I think your
Safe.
instinct as a paladin would be to reach out with your sense straight away.
Yeah.
So how many times per day can you use it, does it say?
Something.
One, I think, or it says you can use this feature 0 times per long rest.
Okay, so it's once per long rest.
Yeah.
And you reach
Yeah.
out.
Oh, yeah. It says here long.
She's
One
just rested
long
for like
rest.
10 years, so she
One
gets
action.
2.
She's pretty rested, yeah. You reach out with your divine sense, and you don't sense anything within 60 feet that falls within that description. So you're pretty confident that you're safe from those entities in this area. And you reach out suddenly and you feel a sigh of relief that nothing is about to come around the corner and get you. So then he goes on and says, I have a little bit of gold we've collected from around the city. I know that, the city has become this bartering economy now, but gold still has value. So if you're willing to help us with this, I mean, it's the only way this city has of continuing to survive.
What happened to the war? Is it over? Where are the elementals at? Or like this?
He says, it was over before it began. There's been nothing since the attack. I mean, he looks around, they seem to have won. There's nothing.
They're not around.
We haven't seen any of them. Aside from the blast, there's been no indication that the kingdom has pursued us.
Do we know that it was the elemental who did the blast?
Is that what you say? He says, well, we're just assuming. I mean, it came from, if you look at the hole in the power plant central chamber, you can see roughly the hills of the elemental kingdom and the mountains through that hole in the distance. So we assume so, but we don't know for certain.
So I'm a little bit ticked off that they did that. Right? We had a whole plan, and then they just killed us quite literally. I'm not a fan of that, right? So I think we should sort this monster thing out so that we could have a little base. Then we're gonna go and have a little chat with these fucking elementals. I think, right?
Listen,
Yeah.
Granddad, there's some issues.
What the fuck, guy? Right? I mean, I get it. They, in a way, maybe it was clever. They wanted to avoid a war, so they just struck and took out the like I said, the war machine before it even began. Still, though, I took this a little bit personally. So that's what I think. I think we should help these people because even
We
though
need to
the
advise them.
racial slur, etc. But you know, they're still kind of our people because that's where we grew up, and I feel like we should at least give them the chance to survive. And
Yeah.
then we can fuck
I
them.
mean, that's my personality.
Yeah.
Do you discuss this
Try to
with
help
each
those
other, or
people.
just with like looks that you know each other so well? You
I
look at
think we
each
do
other.
looks.
Yeah. He
Because
says,
I'm very awkward.
fair
I
enough.
am also very
So you have this sort of exchange in a series of glances, and he starts to look hopeful as he sees your expression of conversation, and he goes, we have things we can, he starts to like take hope, even though you haven't really responded yet. And he says, we have things that can help you, and he reaches into his bag and takes out these 2 leather bags and says, these are one of our most treasured recoveries from the city. They're bags of holding, and he gives them to each of you. The city will be in terror until we know this thing is dealt with. When you find it, if you can get rid of it, put its heads in these bags, and then we can show them to the town, and finally we can go back to normal. And he starts to get excited. And you can each write down that you have a bag of holding.
Where do I write that?
It's been an inventory thing. Is that at the very end? I don't know, inventory. Oh no, it's the second page. See equipment. So you can just put like name.
Head?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can totally get
So bag
of holding.
of holding. I wrote with a capital H because then it makes it feel like it's a magical item.
Nice. And he also says, oh, I almost forgot. And he reaches into his bag and he pulls out these 4 vials of red liquid, and you recognize them to be healing potions. And he holds them very reverently as he hands them over and says, we've only been able to find a very small amount of these. And I mean, the rest of the town may not support me. I mean, they are a little, and he sort of looks at you knowing that he's referring to the fact that they probably don't trust you.
Yeah.
But he says, but I know from my experience that you're the best bet we have. And he gives you each 2 healing potions.
Oh, 2.
Yeah.
Neat.
And he holds them like reverently as he hands them over, wanting, his hands are shaking a little bit, wanting not to like break them. And he says,
So do I really need healing potions then?
Yeah.
well,
You
As
can
in-
only heal X amount. You can't heal indefinitely. Having healing potions is always sweet.
you would know from your adventuring days that they're like a good supplementary tool to have. Like if you run out of lay on hands, for example, or they're a good backup. Or if you want to bring someone else back from unconsciousness, yeah.
Good.
And he says, I mean, I can't get my hopes up too much. Do you want to help us? And he looks at you like starting to like backtrack on himself and realize he's got carried away.
Right. Well, I'll stand up as I put the healing potions with my stuff, And I say,
You see a bunch of people in the mess hall go, and then they sort of go back to what they were doing and pretend like they didn't move.
and I try to do this. Let's see, do I have anything? Well, I try to do this like in a grandiose kind of way, right? Where I say, fear not. We shall conquer the beast and return.
Wow. Nice. Make a persuasion check.
12.
Plus your persuasion.
Persuasion plus 1, so 13.
Okay. You see his face lights up and he goes, oh, thank you. And you see a bunch of people nearby sort of like look, and their face goes from like suspicious to neutral. That's as far as they've moved. And then they sort of go back to what they were doing, but you can tell they're eavesdropping. But he goes, and he holds each of your hands and says, let me know if you need anything. I mean, there are some people that you might be able to get supplies from in the hallway. That's our sort of central market area. If you want like rations or water or advice, there's some hunters that might know the area. But I can't thank you enough for doing this for us.
Is there anyone who has kind of seen the beast and survived at all? Anyone, any victims who were attacked, and anyone who could tell us more about what it is? Because if we know what it is before we go out there.
I think we need to start investigating in that
Yeah.
sense. Because we need to know, and also even though we did grow up here,
It's a rubble of a city. Right?
yeah, so we need someone who knows how it looks like now.
Yeah, maybe we can get a guide.
He says, I don't know, everyone's been too afraid to go out, but Gala, the huntress, might know. She would be the only one that tends to go out now.
Where can we find this dog?
She has a stall, like I was saying, in the corridor where everyone sets up their little stall.
Cool. Well, no time like the present, isn't it? What time of the day is it, roughly?
You look out the crack in the wall that has been partially destroyed, and it looks kind of like mid-morning.
Right, so we go on day
The
ahead.
sun's relatively low in the sunrise sky.
Let's go figure what this thing is, right? And then when we know what it is, we can decide if it's better to go out during the day or during the night.
Yeah.
It might be better, actually, if it's like sleeping at night. It might be hunting at night. We don't know.
Yeah?
And where usually it's active. We can go and figure this shit out. You know?
Yeah. We
So-
need a bit more details of when people disappeared.
So,
You're in this room, you've just stood up from the table, and the guy called Spark is just like thanking you, and you're a couple of other people in the mess hall, and then the corridor leading out towards the main thoroughfare. And also surrounding all of these rooms is like rubble, and you see bits of wood and cabinets that look like maybe they still have stuff in them, just has been pushed to the side of the walls so that people have like cleared a space to live in.
so they to clean it. Bit lazy out there. What else are they doing? Okay, cool. I'm not going to judge. 10 years though. Fuck me. Alright, well, leave it to us, old man.
Thank you.
And then let's, and I do like some cool gestures to you, because you're a big dude. I mean, you're not a dude, you're a female, right? Or a man? I don't know, what, did you pick a male or female? You did.
I
I feel like Medela is it's just a word.
Sounds female, but
It's up to you, you can choose.
I liked being like Vin Diesel's. Like I have a hard time seeing myself as a woman, but maybe I am.
Well, even if you're a woman, your frame is big.
Yeah, so maybe I'm like that lady in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah.
That's exactly the frame that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm a woman.
Cool.
There you go.
I'll just so I know. Well, I'll call you bro anyway, because
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
we're bros.
Yeah, and Medela called you bro at the campsite,
Exactly.
so it must be this
It's like
thing
a
that
thing.
you have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when Brienne and everyone else was calling each other sir.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like bro, and then just look, do this cool like, let's go, bro.
Let's go.
Yeah. Just so we do a cool exit, so
And
we
you-
look like professionals.
You feel all these eyes on you as you leave the vessel.
Cool.
Okay, you
Because
open
you just like.
Yeah.
the
Quite
corridor,
big.
the main thoroughfare opens up. To the left, you see the central sort of like power plant chamber, and to the right, you see the long, wide corridor that leads to the exit of the power plant. And on each side of the corridor, you see a merchant that used to be, that seems to be offering like woven pendants of some sort of religious significance. You see someone that looks kind of like a fortune-telling gypsy, You see someone that looks like a hunter because they've got meat and pelts hanging from their little stall. Excuse me. You see this little kid that has bundles of wood on their table, and you see an elderly man with like jugs of some liquid.
Hunters. Technically. That's what we would call the hunters. Let's go up. I'll walk up to the hunter sort of stall
Okay.
and say I'm looking for Carla.
You have found her, and she looks at you kind of stony faced. This is one of the few people that hasn't like visibly shrunken away from you guys. Yeah.
Great. Well, then I say, we've heard that you might be able to help us with give us more information on the beast. We're setting out to get rid of it.
Are you thinking of tackling this yourself? And she starts to like look you up and down, and she looks up and up at Medela.
And I say yes.
Okay, make a persuasion check.
We
And I'll say
should just do a Witcher thing. 11 persuasion. That's a 12.
Okay. She says, what the hell? I mean, we can't do much. I risk my life every time I go out. We can't do much until the beast is dealt with. Okay, if I was going to do it, and she starts to, you get the sense that she's trying to like, she's bragging a little bit. If I was going to do it, I would look at the troglodytes. They live in sort of caves just outside of the city. And basically, they worship greater monsters than themselves. So if there was a big creature like that around, they would probably fall in line underneath it. They might know something. The tunnels have formed sort of outside the city as the foundations of the city rocked and sort of crumbled the area around. You can't miss it. You'll see them. That's what I would do.
Can you tell us more about the people disappearing, where they were and when they disappeared?
Well, that was John. That was 2 weeks ago. He was foraging just outside the walls of the city. Hence my troglodyte theory. Then there was Jess. That was just a week ago. She was inside the wall, but scavenging through the rubble beside it. So it's mostly been towards the outskirts of the city, either inside or outside the wall.
Have there been any dead bodies found, or are they vanishing?
We're presuming that it's eating them. We haven't found any bodies. And she says this like with the kind of non-expression that only someone that hunts for a living could probably say, because it's pretty gruesome that all of your villages have just been eaten. We haven't found any remnants, some blood stains, that's about it.
And there's not been anyone who's gotten a clear view of the beast?
Spark is the only one that's seen it, and that was just one head. Everyone that sees it is then gone, as far as I can tell.
How did he escape?
Well, he was on the other side of a number of buildings, so it didn't necessarily see him. He was quite far away, or so he tells me.
Do I know, like, can any of us at all, like with the description that he did, do we have any kind of, with our adventuring, any kind of prior knowledge to sort of the beasts that might naturally be around?
Of what it might be.
Yeah. Do we have any kind of educated guess?
Find out. This is gonna be, goodness gracious me, what would this be? History check.
History check.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can both make one if you want.
A 6 plus 2, I have an 8.
7 plus 1.
Oh,
Okay.
8.
You both recall that there are. You don't know much because I mean you've encountered monsters, but none that really match this description. So you're not really sure. I mean, multiple heads is sometimes something you've heard of, especially in your research, like a chimera and stuff like that. But people don't even really believe they exist anymore. No one's seen one in decades. But you're not sure. I kind of vaguely like the multiple heads thing is the only thing that really stands out as that's a bit unusual.
Okay.
Would we know how to defeat it?
With your roll of 7 and 8, no. No, you would need more clues.
We would need to know what it is more. Right. Then I talked to her. Might be a dumb question, right? Is the library intact at all? Because I when I say the library, maybe there are more than one libraries, but my knowledge of the city and my sage stuff, I guess for a specific library that I might think
there is a
I might be
library
able to
in
go.
the city, yeah. She says, let's see how much she knows about it. She says, not much of a reader myself, and you can see she's wearing like just dead animal skins as clothes.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could try and see if it's still standing enough. I think Spark may have tried. I don't know how far. It's quite difficult navigating the city now. It could still be standing. There might still be stuff in there, but I wouldn't know.
Do you have anything else to ask her? I say with a glance.
I love that sentence. I say with a glance.
So has there been any activity since Jessica disappeared?
Most recent one a week ago. We haven't seen the monster since then, but to be honest, not many people have gone out. I haven't gone on a hunt since then. I'm just waiting till things settle down. Roll an insight check.
15.
You get the sense that she's scared. She's putting on a brave face, but she's waited a week to go hunting because she's trying to work up the nerve to go out hunting.
She needs to be starving enough. Right.
We've got enough dried rations for a little while. I'll head out, and she looks up at the sun. In the next few days.
Okay.
Right.
I think we should go to the library.
I think it might be good. We should go and scout and see if there's anything intact. Because then, once we leave the city, we might get stuck on this long ass adventure thing. I guess we walk away from it, right?
Yeah. We
Well,
say
step
thank
aside.
you and
Thanks for your
we
help.
might come back.
She just goes,
Oh, she stole your thing. Oh no, then you can go, fuck. Because that's something else.
Those are the two things he says.
So, right. Because I'm thinking, right, if we can find a book that kind of references monsters that feels like it might be valuable, right? Once we get out there and fuck these troglodytes up a bit, see if we can get some information. Do they speak troglodytes? Or are they just like,
Make a. Goodness me, what would this be? For you, you've done a lot of research. Make a history check. Yeah.
19?
Oh yeah. You would know that they speak their own language, but they are.
What
They
language?
walk on troglodyte. So
Oh,
they
okay.
walk on 2 legs. So they're kind of like they have a society of sorts. They're just a little primitive.
Right.
So they probably speak their own language, but that means they have a degree of intelligence. So talking to them might be tricky, but theoretically possible.
Because I speak Celestial, Common, Draconic, and Primordial.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of
they speak. They're like a tribe, so they
So
have
it's
their
not-
own tiny language.
So it's not like
that you wouldn't have bothered to learn.
Okay. Just thinking if there was. All right.
So
Well,
maybe we have to follow them.
But they have
Yeah.
intelligence, so you could do like charades. You presume, based on
Yeah,
your
yeah.
19, you've read a book about them.
yeah. Because then I think, right, we see if we can get a book. See
They
if we
might
can
be
read
able to
anything.
lead us to the monster, which means that
Well,
we
if they
can-
worship it, they're not going to let us do it. We're probably
No.
gonna-
So we shouldn't show ourselves and let them know
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
want to know.
See if we can yeah. But then, whilst we're there, if we can figure out what it is, even if we don't know of it, if we have a book with us,
Yeah.
thinking about Hermione here, right?
Yeah.
Jill has got a book with her in that bag of hers
Yeah.
for stuff like this, and then we
So
can
we have to go to
so
the
we get
library
into
now.
Yeah, I think we should start there
Yeah.
before we set out outside the city gates to find the troglodytes and follow them.
Yeah. See if we can find anything about like
Because the library might be busted.
multiple-headed monsters.
Yeah, anything that can give us clues so we don't run into this pipeline. Right.
Yeah.
So
that's-
you're trying to go to the library?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll say make a perception check, both of you. No, it only counts if it's in the little container.
Great, because I didn't want 12. I mean, it would be great because that was my perception. Perception check?
Yeah.
16. Yeah.
I got-
Perception, I have 0 plus.
I got, yeah,
So
10. 10
16
for
or
me
10.
until.
Okay, you strike out after the looks of these various vendors kind of follow you out. You walk down the steps and you see the ruins of the city. And you strike out quite confidently going, I'm a researcher, I know where the library is, and you go, and then quickly you start to slow down and lose confidence in where you're going because everything is rubble. And then Medela goes over to you and sort of like elbows you in the other direction because you're more of a religious person, you're not really associated with sort of like book learning. But you want to, and you know it's kind of important to OP as well, so you want to make it seem like it was his idea. So you just sort of nudge him and go, it's over there. And then you see where it is and go, oh, of course. And then you go over and you see it's this big building, like it's a big library, but it's all kind of collapsed in. There are still some bits that look upright, but that's just because these slabs of stone have leaned against each other to keep them up. So it looks like you could get in, but it would be a kind of climbing exercise.
Sounds like a job for this guy.
Cool.
My dexterity, jumping abilities.
Well, jumping would be helpful, but climbing is an athletics-based check. Like it's your fitness.
Is it acrobatics?
You could acrobatics it, yeah.
If I can acrobatics it, because I have +5 in acrobatics.
I have
It's
plus 2.
It's not terribly high, so you could. Do you have a +2 in acrobatics or athletics?
Acrobatics.
What's
I
that?
have 1 in athletics.
Okay, you can both try to acrobatics it like a pair of tumblers. Okay. So
I
you,
might be too big for this.
you come up to the wall of broken stone, and you can both roll acrobatics checks.
Fuck me. So 14.
17,
19.
18, 19.
Nice. Similarly to the navigational exercise, you jump, and it's a relatively good jump, but then Medela comes up and sort of like pushes your feet even harder, and you go, oh wow, I jumped further than I thought. And then she sort of like parkours up, and you guys get over this ledge and see the dark interior of a mostly broken library with like 1 or 2 shelves standing and just books everywhere, just scattered around the place.
Right, it's dark in here.
It smells like paper, and it's quite dark. Like you have
we
trouble.
don't have sort of any kind of, like, we can't see in the dark or anything like that. because of our
Do you have
brains.
dark vision? I don't think
I don't
so.
think so. I just wanted to make sure.
The
All right.
paladin can cast bright light with certain abilities. Oh yeah, you can use your channel divinity to create a holy weapon, or you could just light a torch.
Yeah, I'll just light a torch.
I think, yeah, I have 10 torches. In
Yeah,
my-
I got a
Oh,
bunch
nice.
of torches.
You
and
got
stuff.
torches for days.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get 1 torch each, right?
Yeah.
And I guess we should just split up and have a
Do you-
little look around. I guess I want to try to explain to her what we're looking for. Like, what are the words, maybe authors, maybe sections of where I would suspect books that we're looking for might be. Do you know anything I know of the library? Like, there's no point going down there not right now.
I'll say because you're in your kind of like your native environment, your habitat. You guys can roll with advantage. So Medela is going to help you look.
Yeah, okay.
Because you know where you're going, and she can sort of like take your direction as it's roughly this big, these kind of authors.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna make an investigation check, but you can roll twice and take the higher one.
I'm glad, because I remember one.
Wow.
You can use a holy symbol as a spell casting purpose. What does that mean?
It just means it's the thing you use to cast spells. Like it's
Okay.
like having a cross.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm wearing an amulet.
Oh, nice. Is that what your holy symbol is? Nice. There you go.
So, what did this mean?
Oh, she was just asking a different
Oh,
question.
right.
So what's your roll?
11.
11, okay. With an 11, you search for about an hour, and you find kind of the section that looks right, roughly where that kind of troglodyte book was that gave you that other knowledge, but you haven't been able to find much else. So now that you're at the shelf, roll again. But it took you a long time.
Is
so
it
it's
another with advantage?
Could I,
yes.
could I do a spell to try and find something?
Maybe, if you have a spell that matches that description, have a look through all your different spells.
Is that at the end?
15 this time.
Ooh, 15.
Spell.
Where's
Command, divine favor,
Oh, you're going to prepare something.
blessed, cure wounds, detection, poison and disease, shield of
I
faith,
can't remember how many you can have prepared.
purify food and drink, heroism, detect magic.
Maybe I can just look it up. Hold on.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what happens in just a second.
Are you? Do you know what we're doing, by the way?
We're looking for the book.
Yeah. But where we're at with it, just in case. So you follow what we're doing. Just you've been reading what we're doing.
Well, basically, you've come to the shelf that
Yeah.
you've narrowed it. You know, when you go to a public library, it says like autobiographies or something.
Yeah.
You're in the rough section, but you haven't found the book yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just checking in
Yeah,
case
yeah.
you're.
No, that's where I was thinking.
in
We've
case
spent
you
an
were
hour already.
Squirreling it
So
by
I was
reading other things.
No, so I was thinking we could find the spell to find the book.
Okay, cool.
Just check.
So you can choose like one additional spell from your list. So of all of these things, that's it. I think you have that already.
Yeah, that's the general.
Okay, cool. So of these ones, just
Yeah.
fill in one of the circles for the one you want to have prepared for that day. But you also have sanctity and that one,
Yeah.
because those are always prepared, but you can choose one more like per day,
Oh, okay.
and then you keep swapping it every day.
Yeah.
So just, in your own time, just let me know which one you've chosen. Cool. So with the 15, you find a book that seems like it covers like large beasts, unusual beasts, beasts of legend, that sort of thing. Do you want to read it?
I have a little flick through it.
Okay. Make a... Actually, no, you can just read the book. You guys sit down, have a little rest, eat some of your rations, and you deduce that it could be in the Hydra family of monsters, because they have multiple heads, but they don't typically get as large as the one that's been described to you sounds. So it might be like an unusual variant or something like that. That's as close as you can gather from the descriptions. Nothing matches exactly, but that's the closest.
Well, I feel like we've got a book that we could potentially use once we get a better look at the beast.
Yeah. Does it have ways of defeating a Hydra?
Does in this book does it describe how to kill the beasts, the different ones, or weaknesses kind of thing?
It says, give me a second here, blah, blah, blah.
Because if the book describes these type of things, then I feel like we can just grab this book and leave the library, because I don't think we're going to find much else in.
It says that hydras typically are resistant to acid, so it recommends that you don't use that.
Cool.
And it also says that they're pretty big and pretty hearty, so you want to have a plan for addressing them, because they haven't been seen in a long time. But the times that they were around, they're not insubstantially challenging.
They're formidable
Yes,
opponents.
exactly. They're just as good in the water as they are on land, so be aware of that. And that's about all this book seems to describe.
Well, I'll pack the book down. What, is it like a monster book?
Yes, it's a, let's say, large beast of legend book.
What is it? Bestiarium? Bestiarium?
Bestiary?
Bestiary?
Yeah.
What do you call it that?
Let's call it that.
Bestiary.
That's what they call it in The Witcher.
That is, isn't it?
Yeah.
What does it mean with divine favor?
Actually, that's what that you can use the book for this. See where it says divine favor, blah 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 blah. Page 234. That's where it'll describe it for you. Or you can just look it up on your phone.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, the superior
Yeah, page reference.
divine favor. Would you like me to read it out?
Yeah.
Might as well.
Your prayer empowers you with divine radiance. Until your spell ends, your weapon attack deals an extra 1d4 radiant damage on hits. Concentration up to 1 minute, and it's a self thing. So you
Yeah,
don't
so you cast it on yourself. And concentration spells mean that you can only cast one concentration spell at a time. And if you get hit too hard, you have to roll to see if you maintain concentration. So they're a little bit different than a regular spell.
How much damage does your Warhammer do? check?
It'll be bottom right, unless you haven't equipped it. Check bottom right. What does that say?
This one?
No, bottom right. What does that
Bottom.
say?
This.
Yeah. What does that say?
Unarmored strike, hit +3, damage type is 2, blood.
Can you open up your, what's it called? Character sheet on your phone. Probably need to make like an adjustment.
Oh, you didn't?
Because the items might have been like added, but they may not have been like equipped.
Because we equipped a bunch of stuff, but then didn't like equip all
I
of them.
think I
because
picked
we
in
assumed it would be.
the
Yeah, I thought you did.
Warhammer.
Yeah, that's in your list of equipment, so
Yeah.
you have it, but whether or not you're currently like
So where do I
wielding
go?
it. So let's go to that little square thing at the bottom. And now go to equipment. Okay, now scroll down. Does that mean? Oh, so the book must be on. That's good. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to click everything that you might use. So
Oh,
arrows there, dagger, yeah, longbow, go crazy. Warhammer, sweet. So that's all done.
okay.
We've also got mess kit, some vestments, a rope, clothes, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. Alright, so then we'll go back to your main page. Actions, for example. And now it's giving you all these like
Okay.
more things. So you could copy them down onto your page if you want, or you could just refer to them there.
Hen.
So they just go in there, yeah. So the way you read it, actually, yeah, you can copy it and let me know how you go.
Yeah,
Cool.
because I'm just thinking, because you also have this divine smite or whatever it is.
That one's cool. So that means if you hit with your Warhammer or whatever melee attack you're hitting with, you can choose whether you want to like turbocharge it by using a divine smite.
Because then she can, but that's not a concentration spell, is it?
No, it's just a spell.
So then basically she can divine favor herself and strike with the warhammer and divine smite it, which
Yeah.
means she does the warhammer damage
I mean,
plus
I
the
do-
divine smite plus this.
Yep.
Fucking bad.
My longbow gives +4 hits compared to the Warhammer, so actually if it's that big, we should start with the bow.
Yeah, that'll enable you to stay at a safe distance, and you must have a higher dexterity than you have strength. Yeah, so you're good with bows as well as warhammers. And then, so the one that says like, you see how it says
Damage.
hit, the damage
Yeah.
one you can write in that other section.
That hit.
Yeah.
So, okay, dagger 1.
So yeah, there you go. And then I'll say plus 2, nice. Cool, so you've got this book with you, you're in the library, you see Medela meditating on her holy symbol, just sort of figuring stuff out. You see her eyelids kind of go from left to right as she like concentrates fiercely.
Cool. Well, we spent about an hour. I think we still have time.
Range 150, bracket 600.
So 150 is your normal range. So anything within 150 feet you can hit normal, but anything within, what is it?
600.
600 feet you can hit at disadvantage. So you have to roll twice and take the lower.
Cool.
What are you
I
gonna
like that system.
Yeah.
I think it's, like I said, no time like the present, right? Let's just go out and we should sneak around. We should probably have a little look around these cabins. Let's just sneaky. See if we can find them, follow them back to their caves.
Yeah.
And, none of us get tracked. Is it worth?
I mean, since there was attack around the edges of the city, should we go to the edges of the city for me to feel if there's anything like the presence, if anything comes closer for this evening, and then tomorrow find the...
Because we've only spent like an hour or two. It was
Oh,
morning.
okay,
So
yeah.
I'm
Okay, so we can try and find
like
them.
new.
It's like almost lunchtime.
Yeah.
Let's get this show on the road.
Cool. So you find the book.
Found the book. I put that in my bag,
Uh-huh.
and now I guess we venture out to the edge of the city.
Mhm.
Suppose we should kind of tread carefully.
Yeah, I mean you
Keep
make
our wits
your,
about us.
Okay, you make your way. Let's say you go stealthily. So both roll stealth checks for me.
God damn it, 4. 9 in total.
Okay, and Medela?
14?
14, okay. Much as the pattern of this exploration has gone, OP strikes out ahead and starts like traipsing through rubble and just you see like a bunch of domino pieces of stone like go and then Medela like helps guide you towards the outskirts of the city. And you reach the outskirts of the city, it's like kind of just after lunchtime, and you start to see this sort of blackened trees in a radius of about 100 feet surrounding the city. And you also see there's some sort of like low hills and what look to be tunnels and caves in these low hills about 200 feet away. So that kind of matches the description that Gala the Huntress gave you. So you're attempting to do what?
I guess we should try and. Oh yeah, maybe we should have done a little bit more research. There's no information on troglodytes in this book I got. Right?
Well, no, you understood a fair bit about them. You knew that they have their own language. That
Are they out and about at night or during the day?
They tend to be both. They're diurnal, I think, is when they do both.
Cool.
So they're like, it's not like an animal. They're sort of like quasi-intelligent.
Right.
But their preference for caves probably means they prefer the dark, but they might go out during the day as well.
Right. Well, I feel like we should keep the stealth and go up towards the caves.
Okay, because it's a new area, let's do new stealth checks if you want to go that way as well.
12, 17.
Aye. 4.
Okay, this time it's a bit of a reversal. So OP starts to like show you where not to step, even though you crunch on a few branches as you guys make your way out into the wilderness. So whoever wants to navigate, you're going to try and find some caves that were described to you that you can sort of see in the distance. But who wants to do the survival check? Sorry, so it'll be a nature check.
Okay, that should probably be me because that's my.
What's your
I'm Earth
what are your
Genesis
plus in nature?
+3.
Cool. You do it.
Cool. All right. So roll a nature check for me.
4.
So 7. Wait, did you roll a 1?
A 1.
A natural 1.
Natural 1. Okay. So roll the d20 again, and we'll see what happens.
So the same way a natural 20
Yeah.
means critical hit,
Yeah.
that means critical failure.
Yeah. So roll and we'll see what happens.
5
Okay.
plus
No, it's
3.
just a.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Your last meal isn't sitting well. Although the sort of gruel was not technically dangerous, it's not what you've eaten in a long time. You haven't eaten in a long time. So it's starting to sit a little bit unsettling. And your indigestion has reached a critical mass and you fart loudly.
In character, didn't it?
Cool. So after a while, the farting and the crunching through the branches,
Smooth.
it takes you a while, about an hour and a half, but you manage to you arrive at these caves, these series of caves, and you see that there is, on your right, a group of what you recognize to be troglodytes arriving at the same time at this cave, and you both look at each other very suspiciously, and the troglodytes start talking to each other in their own language. And they look very anxious, like they're having this rushed conversation. You guys are both there, about 30 feet away from each other, outside this cave. What do you do?
Wait, okay, sorry. Are we near the cave entrance?
Yeah, you're within like 30 feet of it. You guys arrived at the same time.
They haven't seen us, right?
They have. They're talking excitedly about what they should do, you presume.
Who would you fault this for? We will wait and see if they attack, because we should try and talk to them.
Yeah. Do we-
Hello, I say.
Sorry.
Greetings, honourable troglodytes.
One gets like pushed to the front by the other ones, and he says, it looks like he's trying to talk, but then he sort of shakes his head and goes like this. Make an insight check.
5 plus. God damn, I rolled some shit now. 6. I have no idea what he's
You're
saying.
not sure what he means, but he's going like this. You say that, and he tries to say something, but you don't recognize what it is. And he sort of looks at you like this. For the audio, I'm using a sort of like hunched shoulders, arms, palms upwards.
Okay, so I guess I ignore that because I don't know what he's talking about. So I go, and then go, huh?
Okay, make a performance check. That was some sweet charading right there.
18
18?
plus 1, 19.
Okay, so you see his face widen with recognition, and he says, and then he starts to look at his compatriots, and then he says and he gestures, and he starts walking into the caves.
Might be a trap.
Can I get?
Can you do the sensing thing?
Yeah, can I do the sensing to see if there's any foes that are not just around us?
What does it say that you can detect again?
I can detect good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
I can sense anything affected by the hollow spell, know the location of any celestial, and undead within 60 feet.
Okay.
That's not behind total cover.
So mark off that you've used that once, just with a little pen mark or something.
Is that here?
Yeah. Well, you just mark off.
Divine sense.
Yeah, let's use that.
Yeah.
You get the sense, as your senses expand in the area, that these troglodytes, they're kind of evil, but more like the way that a predator is evil. You know, like a wolf is evil for eating a deer. So it's kind of not the normal evil that you would sense. It's a bit more primal than that. But you don't sense anything else in that area. Certainly not something as big as the creature that's been described to you. And you see them sort of walk into the cave ahead of you, into the darkness.
Oh, they do not need torches and stuff then. They're not torching.
They don't seem to need one.
But we do.
Yeah, we do.
Are we
Okay.
walking in after them?
I mean, that's what we came here to do.
Okay.
We need to figure out what they're trying to do. Because they're not leading us to the monster, clearly. So, how about I do the torch, and you can just casually be ready with the hammer, maybe.
Yeah.
Just do that, the classic,
Yeah.
with the shoulder carry
Mhm.
thing. So
Sounds
you don't
like
look
me.
threatening, because we
Yeah.
don't want to start fighting them yet. But, you know, and I light a torch and follow them with
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm holding it with one hand. If I do two hands, that's
it looks
when
like you're about to
that's
swing
when,
it.
yeah, that's when I can increase my power as well when I swing it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. As you light the torch, you both notice the ground has been stirred up, and it's got some shapes in it that you don't necessarily recognize. Both of you can roll either a survival or an investigation check.
God damn it. Well, I've got a 5. Oh.
20?
There you go. Not a natural.
Okay. You realize that these markings on the ground are tracks, and they're just at the mouth of the cave, and they indicate that about 25 or so troglodytes have walked past here recently. And that's bigger than the group you just saw, but you get the sense that these footprints are overlapping. And a very large creature with footprints bigger than you've ever seen has also come by here in recent times. And also an owl bear, which is kind of like a bear mixed with an owl, and they're just like regular bear personality, kind of a bit dangerous and unpredictable. You notice this in the tracks.
There's a lot of activity.
As you enter the cave, I assume you're continuing.
Can I get a sense from the nature of how recent the tracks were made?
Each section represents a different level of recentness. So the troglodytes come very recently, intervals of like 12 hours. The large creature is much older, probably about a week or so, and the owl bear is kind of in the middle, like every 2 weeks.
And then I'm guessing she's relaying this information to me, so I ask her, does the owl bear thing, is it going in or out, or both?
The tracks indicate both,
All of the track, okay.
so in and out.
I was just thinking if
So
because
what
the
we're
trouble
wondering now is,
is there an owlbear in there
yeah,
hanging out?
but also, why is everyone going in and out of this cave?
I mean, the troglodytes live there, I suppose. So they come and go. I guess they go out and do
Yeah, but the
hunting
bear,
and eat.
the monster?
Yeah, the monster, I suppose, might be. What the monster is doing there, we don't really know. I guess it's not around now, but the owlbear though. What's he on? What's he about? He is the odd man out here. My Cluedo senses are tingling. All right. Well, you know what? Let's continue on.
Okay, you enter the cave and your light casts a sort of 15-foot bright radius circle and then sort of a dimmer light about 20 feet beyond. And you notice that the cave has 3 passages leading deeper down, one to the left, one straight ahead, and one to the right. And the floor turns from sort of soil to a hard rock. And so the tracks obviously are no longer visible because it's hard rock now. Nothing else of interest. The floor is rocky. Yeah, it just seems you don't see any sign of the troglodytes that went in.
Well, they disappeared.
They must have gone ahead of you, either assumed that they were following you or deliberately moving too quick for you. You don't know, but you don't see any
Could we
trace of them.
Could we shout out?
I don't know. This might just be a trap. They might have run off ahead to lure. Like they might have done a golden with the spider with the shield. Right.
So yeah, you've got 3 passages, it's dark cave, rocky ground. You hear
There you go.
that's what you hear. Somewhere off in the echoing caves.
So maybe that's why the monster's
Let's try and
coming in.
try and leave. Maybe.
For water.
I'm sure that water is better places than the cave. What I think though is that we should probably start leaving like some sort of mark so we can find our way back in case this turns out to be this whole thing.
Yeah. I have a rope.
Yeah, I think if we mark do we have anything we can mark the wall with?
It'll be in your equipment list, if anything. You might have like, I'll say you've got your torch from when you were in the library, and you would have put that out by now. So that would be like charcoal you could use.
Yeah, so I'll do that, and I'll draw an arrow towards the exit.
Cool.
From where I am.
Nice.
And
You
then-
do it on the wall successfully.
Brilliant.
I'll
Then
say
I
it's on
guess
the left wall as you come in. Only you
Right.
put it on the right
Yeah.
wall if you want, but the
No,
left
no.
wall makes more sense.
Yeah, which means it will be on the right side
When you go out, yeah.
Let's,
What else do you do?
I think we should.
So should we
Slowly.
do my senses to see which way we should
You
go?
can only do that once every day. Though. You need a long
okay.
rest in between.
So you'll have like
okay.
a proper sleep, and then when you wake up, you'll be able to do it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But you don't need that. You could just make a perception check if you want to listen and smell
Yeah.
to see what are you trying to find out.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think because I'm Earth Genesee.
Oh yeah, you can do earth stuff in the end.
Yeah.
You can walk over difficult earth terrain as if it was regular terrain, and you can
Yeah.
also like shimmy
Something
the
like
earth.
merge with
Yeah.
stone, whatever. I never
It's just
quite understood what
that.
that
That one?
means.
That one, I think. What does that say?
You
Merge
can
with
move across difficult terrain made
Yeah.
of earth or
Come on,
stone
go
without
there.
expending extra movement. You can cast pass without trace material components once per long rest. CON is your spell casting ability.
Cool. So basically that means that you can cast Pass without a trace, which for 1 hour makes you add +10 to your stealth checks. So you sort of become enveloped in shadow and you can walk around more stealthily. So if you want to do that, you can do that.
I guess the only problem is we're walking around with a torch in a pitch black cave, so a stealth thing is not really an option right now.
Okay.
And we can't see in the dark, so we can, I think, save that for later.
Yeah.
I think we
Remind
should,
them.
yeah. I mean, it might be good later on when we need to sneak up on something.
Yeah.
But right now, we don't know what we're doing. I think we should just press on and
Yeah.
be prepared for potential attack. Tis my my gut feeling. Because we didn't go to the caves to I mean maybe we should have snuck in without them. but that didn't happen, did it?
No.
Now they know we're here.
Mm.
If they want to fight, we can take on 20 of those guys. Probably not.
Should we leave a torch in one of the other kind of tunnels so that if we go down one,
See the light. Yeah.
Okay, so,
so
you're
we,
gonna.
I can use one torch.
Yeah, we light another torch and put it up sort of. I guess we don't. How many tunnels are ahead of us? Are we down?
3. One ahead, one to the left, one to the right.
Oh, right. Maybe we should just put one up at the in this fork, so that whichever one we go down, we can also see the light to return
Yeah.
to the fork. So
Yeah.
we need one at the fork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll leave-
So where do you place it? On the middle one, the left one, or the right one? Or in the middle of
Sort
the
of in the
room?
middle of all of them.
Okay, so you're just gonna put it on the ground? Or you're gonna try and...
Try and find like a little crevice so we can shove it
Make
into
an
it.
investigation check. And I'll say because this is stone, Medela can help you, so you can roll with advantage.
Okay, well, left it. 16.
Nice.
So,
You
yeah.
find a little, well, you don't need to roll because you were helping. So basically that means you
Yeah.
find a little gap in the stone to put the torch in between the front and left passage. So it's kind of dimly illuminating the room.
So, which of the thingies should we go through?
Yeah,
Middle,
front,
right.
left, or right.
the left or right.
Yep.
Hmm?
So with the thingy attached,
Mhm.
we proceed with the thingy, the torch. We proceed down the left.
Okay. The cave that you've come to is smaller than the one that you just came from, about 10 feet by 10 feet. Another passage continues ahead, but otherwise it seems empty, other than the passage that continues ahead.
Continue through it. Just continue through it.
Mm-hmm. Can we get a feeling of like smell or any light ahead or?
Make a investigation check.
One.
Oh, wow. Okay, roll again.
Another fart.
19. Plus, do you count the investigation number that I have? The plus, I have a plus
If you
one.
roll a 1, no, I suppose
No.
Okay, you end up tripping on the rough ground, and you do a little roll on the ground, and it looks cool, even though it was accidental. And you end up face to face with this little piece of wire that looks like a trip wire in the passage ahead of you.
Lucky. Alright.
What would you like to do?
Step over. Or, should we just let it, should we poke it and run away? See what happens? So we know what this tripwire does.
I mean, maybe we can try and follow the wire where it goes.
It is a tripwire, so it would go across the.
Could we not see if it follows one of the sides? Where?
Oh, you mean like that?
If you want to try and interpret the mechanism, you can make a perception or investigation check.
Right, I'll do that. 16.
Okay. You notice that it leads to a rope. The wire leads to a rope tied around a little like peg, and then that goes up to the ceiling. And you notice that there's a series of planks that are holding like rubble, like rocks, above the passageway that would presumably fill the passageway if it was triggered.
Okay.
Should we
So-
cut the wire?
That might trigger it, or we go to back and go one of the other.
Could it? I feel like if they put this trap though, there might be something down there. We can just step over it and keep walking. And just pay attention to the. Now we know there are traps.
Yeah.
Because if that's the mechanism, then nothing's going to happen unless we push the fire itself. Just need to remember this when we go back.
Yeah.
Okay. So what?
We step over it and continue down.
Okay. Nice. Okay, cool. There are a couple. You come in and you have another torch lit, presumably, and you see glittering yellow off of a couple of hundred gold coins in like little piles, and a few gemstones and sculptures and paintings. This looks like a hoard of like precious knickknacks scattered around this room. It's a little bit bigger, like 15 feet by 15. And the cave has no other passages that you can see aside from the one that you came in. And these like precious knickknacks.
Can we carry it?
Can we carry several hundred coins? Oh yeah, it doesn't weigh.
Like, I'll say your money pouches are big enough.
I guess I'll have a little look around for more traps.
Okay. Make a either perception or investigation check. It's up to you.
If we do it together, can I roll with advantage?
Are you gonna help? Then then you can roll with advantage.
No, so if you help, I roll twice.
Your character helps, but it's like the mathematics of rolling twice or rolling twice and taking the higher. It's kind of up to you which maths you prefer.
Alright, well.
So
What are we
it
do now?
doesn't-
Because I rolled really shit, and she rolled good.
Did you roll twice or once?
I did roll twice, because that's what I thought we were doing. But then, it feels weird going back on whatever
Well,
the best option was.
Yeah, to be fair, we only discussed this now. So from now on, we'll just decide
Before.
either one of you rolls twice, so they get to take the higher of the two rolls, or you both roll once, and then you pick the higher of your two rolls.
Okay.
So this time we'll just take yours. What was yours?
15, and which one was I looking at?
Investigation or perception.
+1, so 16.
Okay. You go to the far wall, opposite the entrance to this cave, and you feel like a little like niche that makes it look like a boulder is or a piece of stone you can just push out of the way that's meant to look like the rest of the cave. So you get the sense that it's like a secret passage.
Might be better shit in there.
Yeah, we'll lead to different way.
Can we start by stealing all their shit? Yeah. We
Yeah.
just take all the coins and stuff.
You take it? Okay, you take it. Right now you have 200 gold and 4 gemstones.
Let's just go for
What,
this, or do we
each?
split it?
You can split it. You each have 100 gold coins.
So gold coins.
Mhm.
See, it's like a thing you hear. The GP is gold pieces.
Ah, there. Oh.
So just add a 1,
Yeah.
and then you can take the gemstones.
Okay.
No point splitting that, but the gold might be good.
So, what's gemstones?
Is it 5? You said
4.
4. Cool.
Cool.
Let's have a little look at this secret door then.
Okay, you
Yeah.
push the rock out of place and you go through the passage. What you see is that this chamber looks a little nicer than the others. It's a little bit bigger and it looks like you see troglodytes in here. Bigger troglodytes than the ones outside. And there's these piles of straw that look like sleeping areas. And there are no you see these 5 trogs that are bigger than the ones from outside, and you see one that's even bigger than those ones. And that one starts to stand up. And these look a lot calmer than the ones you saw outside the entrance. And then he comes up and says, "Hello." And you recognize that he can actually speak common. He says, "My people tell me you know the creature.
Um,
The ones that you spoke to outside presumably went in and told their boss.
yes, we're looking for the creature. Do you know it?
Yes. If you leave my people, I will tell you where to go.
Deal.
Okay. And he looks much more, even though he's bigger, it's surprising that he's more sort of peaceful than the sort of anxious, nervous energy of the other ones. It comes in from the woods, passes through the caves, and enters the labyrinth. It never travels the opposite way. So unlike the tracks of the owlbear and the troglodytes, the creature's big footprints only travel one way, in.
Ooh.
And he looks at you expectantly.
So, which way is this labyrinth?
And he points east. 2 chambers that way.
Are there any traps on the way we should be aware of?
No. Oh, he looks up. Yes. In the room just before the labyrinth, the second cave that way, don't touch the vase.
Gotcha. Thank you for your assistance.
You are welcome.
We will now leave you alone.
And he turns around and goes back to his sleeping area. So,
The door we just opened, can we kind of close it?
Yeah.
Because A, they can't see we stole all this shit until they open it themselves, and B, it's sort of a polite thing to do.
Okay, you close the door. The only other passage seems to go like on the far right and south. So you take that passage, I assume?
Mhm.
You see about 10 troglodytes lying on the ground. They look kind of anxious but neutral, like they've been listening into your conversation. And they sort of like stare at you. And there's a passage to the left, and there's also a passage to the right. The passage to the left is the direction that he was pointing, and the passage to the right looks like south.
Let's go where he was pointing.
Okay?
Can we
Okay.
get any senses before we go in?
What would you like to see?
Like, is there any smells or is there any light?
It smells pretty bad in here. It smells like
Okay.
wild animals who live here. And it smells wet, like mildew. And if you, is this in the cave with the troglodytes, or are you talking about the one to the left?
Like, I'm thinking like Lord of the Rings and Gandalf's advice.
Which was what?
Like, you go
Where
up.
you know which one's gonna-
Which what, sorry?
Well, but you know, sit in Moria. And that he said, when in doubt, go
Follow your nose.
follow your nose, whatever it says.
Okay, so what smell are you looking for? I mean,
Not as bad.
okay, so the passage to the left smells like wood and metal and ceramics, and the passage that you're in just smells like troglodytes, wetness, and dirt.
Well, I still say we just keep following to that labyrinth. Because we're going to have to get through that labyrinth. There's going to be something in there we need to kill. And then we figure out what this beast is doing down there. I guess someone
Do
is
they
summoning
have,
it.
do the, in the cave we're in now, do they have any like good food?
Well, you don't notice them eating anything. The ones that you're in the room with, they all look like they're clustered together, just sort of looking at you nervously. You're not sure where they eat, but it's presumably not there.
Okay.
You're wanting to steal their food?
Want to sit down and have a meal? Maybe?
You want to eat with them and just hang out?
I don't know if this is the time.
You get the sense. Make an insight check.
18.
Okay. You get the sense from that really big troglodyte, the only one that could speak common, that was talking to you. You get the sense that this is unusual, that he was sort of going out of his way to be nice, whereas usually they would just be more aggressive and wild. but it's kind of unusual that he's developed the ability. So
Yeah.
if it wasn't for him, all the other troglodytes might have been much more aggressive than they actually were. So it's like a tenuous agreement that you guys have struck.
So we should fuck off. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
They don't want us there, but they don't want the beast there either. I think the hunters, thinking they worship it, might be true at some point, and might be true still. But I also get the sense that he doesn't want it coming and going. Maybe not for the beast itself, but for the reason the beast is in there and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he wants us to find it, unless he's fucking with us, he wants us to find it so that we can get rid of it for him too. So
Yeah.
I think we should just
So how?
trust him. And
Yeah. So how does it smell in the south?
The south smells kind of like more troglodytes, like BO almost. It smells even stronger in that direction.
We'll go.
That was enough. Okay, so you go to the left passage, and you see everything in here is broken and kind of rotted furniture and moldy clothing and tarnished metal knickknacks. Kind of like the less valuable version of the treasure room that you guys were in before. And you see a vase, the only thing that isn't broken, kind of sticking out of all the broken crap, and it looks kind of in good condition. And you also notice a passage off to the right.
Do we want to check if there's anything else in this room? We're not touching the vase,
Okay. What would you want?
or are we?
yeah, I don't want to touch it.
Do you want to get like some sort of perception over what's around it?
No, I mean, I think it's just going to be rubble. I think we should press on.
Well, you can, if you want to look for something, tell me what you're looking for.
I'm thinking if there's anything kind of useful in terms of helpful for the maze.
Okay. Even with your passive perception of like 10 or 11, everything in here seems broken, so not hugely useful, except the vase. You don't get the sense this is where they keep useful stuff. It's kind of like it's like a dump where you would put like your rubbish if you didn't have a rubbish bin.
Yeah.
So you don't get the sense of, oh, cool supplies.
Yeah.
It's gross in there.
I'll continue then.
Okay, you guys continue past. You come to a door, very different than the rough stone of the caves. This stone looks very like man-made and like a really nicely done, and the wood of the door is really like well carved and all these intricate sort of vine patterns. And that's at the end of the passage.
Guess we go up to the door.
Okay, you go up to the door.
Yep.
You're standing in front of the door.
I put my hand on it
Mhm.
and just gently try and see if it gives in or if it's locked, or, but without pushing it open. You know, just because we don't know what's behind, but we want to know if we can open it.
It also has a handle, but if you want to just push the door or touch the wood of it, it feels cold. It doesn't give, like it's just like a normal door wouldn't give,
Unless you.
but nothing else happens either.
Just I tried opening them
Okay,
gently.
you open it, it opens easily.
Then have a peek on the other side.
Okay, what you see is, again, these really man-made smooth stone walls leading, and you're in like much narrower corridors now. So everything is like 5 feet wide instead of being like 10 or 15 feet wide. And like rigid straight passage goes off to the left, and another one curves off to the right and goes off into another little area. And you've sort of come to a T-junction.
Are we close to the maze now?
This probably is the maze.
So, if this has been man-made, do you have any recall, like in your history, of such creation?
I guess I can roll a history check.
Yeah, go for it.
See if I know. That would be a history, a 14.
Okay. You don't recall this specific labyrinth in your research, but you get the sense that in order for this to be here, and you get a feeling off of it that it's got a certain like magical quality to it. It doesn't seem like it was just built as a cool building. It seems like it's got a certain like something magic or
It had
arcane, like lingering
arcane
out of
purpose.
sight. What was that, sorry?
Some arcane purpose.
Yeah,
There is
exactly.
something at the middle of this, at the end or in the middle, wherever you, that the beast is attracted to or is being summoned from or whatever. Clearly there's another way back out of here. I think we should go back to making marks on the wall now.
Yeah?
I think we should go left again, because that worked well last time.
Yeah.
But I also think we should put an X on the wall, as in this is where we began.
Yeah.
Should we put, I do a little X.
On the door that you just came through?
Oh yeah, on the door. That's, but yeah, put it on the door.
Okay.
And then we head down on the left side.
Okay, you go left. You walk for about 20, 25 feet, and the passage goes like right, left. So it goes right for a bit, then left, so like a little dog leg left. And then the passage continues for another 30 feet, and it hits a dead end.
Nothing there.
Not that you can see.
Perception check.
Okay, roll perception.
So 20.
Okay, you don't see anything, but you hear to your right, sort of like east, let's say, through the wall to your right, you hear sort of like muttering of like munching and crunching. It sounds a little bit like the troglodytes that you were just with, but much more like animalistic sounding. Only dimly do you hear it through the wall.
To what side of us?
East. So you're at a dead end and you've got like east, north, and west.
Alright. Keep your warhammer close. There will be fights up ahead. Cool. Go back
Mm-hmm. You go back
to the door.
So how do we mark that we've been here?
Right, so what I think, we go back to where we came from, to the front door. Then on the sort of on the wall that goes down towards that thing, I draw an arrow down there and then a line right after.
Okay.
To
Like
sort
a
of
dead end.
indicate a dead end.
Yeah.
Like we've been down
You draw it with your charcoal torch on the wall leading
to
towards
that
the
left
dead
end.
end.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
then we go down the other one.
Okay, you go down the other one, you see another T-junction going left and right.
Yeah.
Left?
Yep.
Okay, go left, the passage kind of hooks, and then you see this like skeleton with like clothes tatted around it about 10 feet down the passage.
Okay, this might either be a trap that is somewhat like. Let's do more perception checks then.
Yeah.
Should we do one each?
Yeah.
9 for me.
17.
Okay, you both perceive that this is a skeleton and it doesn't seem to be alive. You don't get any magical tinklings. It seems like a traditional corpse.
And then we can sense any traps around.
No. Feels like a normal passage.
Right. Continue down.
What was that, perception or investigation?
Perception.
Okay. You perceive that some of the clothes are still intact and it looks like it's like money purse is still there. But other than that, everything's decomposed. Because you rolled a 9, she rolled a 17, right?
Yeah. So that's kind of funny because why would most clothes be intact? And so what has happened to that person for it to decompose?
Well, I guess the body will decompose.
You get the sense that like most of the clothes that are made out of fabric are kind of mostly decomposed, but the wallet, sort of money purse, is made out of leather, so that you get the sense that lasts a bit longer. So the aspects of the clothing that are made out of tougher material is decomposing more slowly.
Oh, taking the.
Oh yeah, check the purse, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, you pick it up.
Yep.
Inside is 52 gold pieces.
Woo! I don't want to be that guy, but I think we should be donating some of this to the, not all of it.
To the what?
52, so I
the-
don't have.
The town.
Oh, to the town.
shanty.
The shanty town.
They could do with some money.
It's very altruistic of you.
Maybe.
Cool. You see the passage continue past the corpse for another 10 feet and then it turns right.
So I think I'm getting confused now where we are in terms of map. So I think we need to do another mark just to make sure we find our way back.
Sure.
Just an arrow.
Just
the
an
way
arrow.
back.
Yeah. We'll do an arrow.
Okay, pointing back the way you came.
Yep.
Cool. Do you go past the passage?
Sure.
Okay, you turn to the right and you see a group of 4 troglodytes sort of like huddled together. They got a very like hunted look in their eye and they move to attack you immediately, like wild animals. Everybody roll initiative.
That's a D6, right?
No, it's this thing. The D20.
Initiative.
Oh, regular D20.
Yeah. And then you add your initiative,
Where's initiative?
which is
Uh,
down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got
9, 10, 11.
13.
13 for you. Okay, so let's do that. It's going to be P. And then you got 11?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool, alright. I usually do a map, but because you're in a 5-foot wide corridor, there's not a whole lot of complexity to map. Just I'll describe in my head that you're in a narrow space. First, they sort of lunge at you, all 4 of them. The first one to react is OP.
So are they literally within striking distance, or are they slightly further
You're
away?
about, 1 sec, 25 feet away.
Then I will pick up my boomerang
Ooh, here we go.
and I sling my boomerang at one of them.
Okay. Okay, so 1 second. I think that requires a roll of some sort. Okay, so how does the boomerang description work? It says +6 to hit, so its ranged attack is easily within range. So roll that bad boy and add +6. It's a dexterity weapon, I assume.
I think so.
Yeah, cool.
It was the thing. I remember the 2.
Yeah, so it's just that's fine.
It's 12 in total.
12 in total.
6 plus 6.
Yeah, you hit. I imagine you just hit the first one in the line
Yeah,
of
just
them that's
that.
running.
Yeah,
Okay, now roll damage, whatever the damage says.
It's 1d4 plus 5.
Nice.
So this is d4.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I got another unit. 3 plus 5, 8.
Nice. This first one looks like on death's door. You see the boomerang go and is like taking off most of his head, but his head's still attached and he's running towards you. So that was 8 damage, right?
So how this works is that you see the bottom one,
Yeah.
and it's the same model. And you go again, and
It's
then
the one that's like legible.
Okay.
so this was like it took me when we were young trying to figure out how this worked. We were like, no, so you do it, and then you look at it, and you put this. Like we had all kinds of theories. We didn't know. And this was before you could just Google it.
Yeah.
You know, there was no internet really.
Cool.
So just do shit. But yeah, that's
Cool.
how that works.
Alright, would you like to do a bonus action or talk or interact with an object or anything? Or use your movement because you're 25 feet away from them?
I'm in front, right? So I'm standing in front of her.
You guys are like abreast of each other, but you can be in front if you want.
Because then I'm just thinking I will
I need
jump out of the way.
because
Okay.
I brought out my longbow.
Is it her turn?
Yes. If you're done with your movement.
Yeah, I just jump behind her.
Cool. You're taking shelter behind her enormous frame.
Indeed.
Okay, your turn. What would you like to do?
31 HP.
I'm bringing out my longbow,
Okay.
putting in an arrow.
And you're going to shoot them? Cool.
Yeah.
So what does the longbow say?
The longbow says +4, 1d8 plus 2.
Okay, so roll your d20 and add 4, and we'll see if you hit with your arrow.
Okay,
Yeah,
this
that
one.
Yep.
Start.
Nice. That's a 1. Wow.
How
Okay.
many ones?
Again.
That's a lot of ones. Roll
Yeah.
the d20 again. See
Damn
that?
it. 14.
So another fart.
Okay, your breeches, trouser type garments fall down as you didn't do your belt up tightly enough. And you have to use your bonus action to pull them up if you want to. And then we have to roll a d4 to see what happens. So do you choose to pull them up or are you going to leave them like that? You've got like a loincloth underneath, I assume.
I leave them.
Okay, you leave them down. Cool. You miss wildly with the arrow. It goes off and hits the stone wall and goes clink. Would you like to use a bonus action or a movement or anything like that? When you have a bonus action, it usually says it in the description. They're like special cases.
Oh, okay.
But if you don't want to do anything else, then you can.
Because I was thinking I'll have to try and shoot another arrow. Is that possible?
Some people have that ability,
Is
but
it
I don't
if-
think you do.
Okay, so if I can't, then I guess I'll have to pull up mine.
Okay.
Trousers.
Roll a d4, the one that you just showed.
Okay. Because otherwise, fighting
close combat will be hard with my trousers down.
Okay, 4. Okay, you managed to pick it up in one smooth movement, making it look very cool.
I don't know about that.
Well, as cool as you can.
I
given
feel
the
like you're
circumstances.
past that point. Yeah.
It was smooth. Okay, so you're gonna stay where you are. As they approach 25 feet away, you're the one in front at the moment.
Yes.
Cool. Moving on to these dudes. The first one, the one that's just had a boomerang to the neck, is gonna come up and attack Medela. A 12, I don't think that hits your AC, which is 16, no. Then 15, 19, that one hits. So you take 3 damage from this claw across your face.
Here?
So current HP, I guess.
Minus 3.
And then
You shot that.
the other claw comes across and strikes your face for 5 damage. So 5 plus whatever I said before.
Is that temporary or just the current?
It's your current, so
Okay.
was it 3 then 5? Is that
Now
what
I
I said?
have
Yeah.
23.
Yeah, cool. And then it sort of stands there breathing heavily. And it smells really bad. Like you get the sense that staying around this creature's stench would be harmful to your health. Let me just write that down. Okay,
So
cool.
I'm immune to diseases. So that's good.
Okay, and then the other troglodytes kind of come up behind that one and can't sort of get past it evenly enough. So it just sort of like, they start like thrashing, trying to get past the one that's in the front. And next up is OP.
All right. So the one with the boomerang is the one that's in front, right?
Mhm.
So just to see it, I understand this correctly, right? So I've got these actions, right? So I can go up and attack one of them. But then, as a bonus action, I'll spend a key, and I do flurry of blows, which means I do 2 extra attacks.
Yeah.
So I go up and do an attack, and then I spend my bonus action to do 2 more attacks.
Well, yeah, if you use a key to do that.
Yeah.
But you can also, I think, just hit twice.
Yeah, just a regular.
Normally. If you're using an unarmed strike with your fist, then whenever you attack with an unarmed strike, you get to attack again as a bonus action. If it's a monk weapon or an unarmed strike, just as normal. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
But a key point allows you to attack
2.
a third time. So
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Cool. Yeah,
So
just
what would you
so
like
I
to do?
understand how that works. Right. Well, I feel like I want to go up and I want to kick that guy in the face. An unarmed strike. So I want to kick him. The guy with the boomerang. The one in
so
the
you
front.
trade places with Medela.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
just-
kick him in the face.
Yeah.
Roll. So your unarmed strike is plus
5.
5?
15.
20 easily hits. Now roll damage, which is 1, whatever.
1d4 4 plus 3.
Mm-hmm.
6.
6 in total.
Yeah.
You kick him in the face.
Yeah.
You lean back, straight-legged, kick his head off, and it flies 5 feet off the body. And then it goes, hits the ground.
Cool.
What would you like to do now? There's another one standing right behind it.
Well, then I do. So I just did that one kick, and I do turn around and roundhouse kick him.
Okay,
With
okay.
my second bonus.
Go for it.
10.
10. You kick just short, having misjudged how far away they are, just for flavor, because you didn't hit their armor class. And it just, the foot stops just in front of its face, and it goes, and then it goes back to what it was doing. Would you like to do anything else?
No.
Okay, cool. Next up is Medela.
What's a melee?
Oh, that's just like, that's a close combat thing. Like
Okay,
this.
yeah. Because
Also-
how close are they now?
They're upon us.
Upon us. So actually, I should be using my
Hammer.
either warhammer or dagger.
Hammer. Shit. That's badass, bro.
Okay.
Big.
Warhammer.
The worm is a big ass hammer, right?
Yeah, it's big.
Just
Two-handed.
a little dagger.
So when I do a two-handed one, it says, I think that becomes a sacred weapon.
As an action, you can imbue a weapon with positive energy for 1 minute. The weapon is considered magical. You can add +1 to attack rolls. It emits bright light for 20 feet and dim lights for 20 feet beyond that. You can end. Oh no, that.
You can do that, but
Yeah.
I think you can do that like once per day or something. Once per something.
Okay.
Because it's
There's
not.
something when I hold it with no, here it is. You can re-roll a 1 or 2 on damage dice with melee weapons wielded with 2 hands.
Nice. Yeah. So if you if you hit, and then you get to roll damage. If you get a 1 or 2 on your damage dice, then you get to roll it again.
Oh, okay.
So you never
Okay.
do that. Well, hopefully you don't
Yeah.
do that. No.
Okay.
So you can roll to attack now with your warhammer.
Just the closest guy, yeah.
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 Fuck him up. What's
Yeah.
what do you have plus on your warhammer?
3.
Nice. So
Alright.
it happens.
Go.
Ooh, big hit. All right, roll
21.
the damage. So what does it say? 1d8 plus 1?
Mm-hmm. So it's this one?
No,
No,
yeah, 8 has
8.
more sides than that.
No. Sorry. No.
That. Okay.
So if this is
Oh, 7.
That's
Okay,
not being rolled.
so plus 1 is 8. Okay, you dig the warhammer into this troglodyte's torso, and you see the ribcage kind of go in a couple of inches, and it's 8 damage. Did I say? Yeah, and it looks like on death's door. It looks upset. Do you stay where you are, or do you move behind? Are you still the front vanguard person?
Yes.
As it seems like they're starting to like regroup and be more organized. Beforehand, you noticed that it was just sort of one at a time, and the rest of them were just sort of cackling in the background, whereas now they're starting to look like their survival is at stake. So do you still want to stay there, or do you want to move back?
I was thinking there were 3, wasn't it?
Well, there was 4, now
There was
there's 3.
4.
Oh.
But one of them is a cave.
He kicked its head off.
Oh.
There was
it's-
4 originally,
Yeah.
so now there's 3, and one of them has caved his chest in. So let's hope he is.
Slowly dying.
Well, yeah, but there's 2 who are definitely up for a fight, and
Okay.
one that's almost dead.
So yeah, because
yeah,
at
I
the
haven't-
moment you're within 5 feet of it, and it smells terrible.
Yeah.
So that's your situation.
So, I'll take the next swing.
As in you stay in front.
Yeah, I'll
You-
stay in front and take.
You're
a
preparing to
second-
hit again.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next up is the troglodytes. The troglodyte that just nearly died is gonna use its like last breath to try and retaliate, and it will try to strike you. That's a 11. That doesn't cut it. That one, ooh, that's not gonna cut it either. That one doesn't either. It just gets and misses you horribly. But then it sort of like takes a step back and starts to organize with the one behind it, and it like swaps places. So the one that's like better health comes forward and tries to attack you. They were a little bit like unorganized before, but now they're like, we can take turns. So this one hits. This is a critical hit. So this is going to be 8 damage. And then 4 damage as it hits you with its claw, and then it misses with its last claw.
No.
11.
That's at 4 damage.
And then the last one is going to try, because it sees that you're busy with its friend, it's going to try and run through to OP, but let's see if it can do it. It does not. In
I'm
fact,
too big.
it rolled a natural 1, so it suddenly like tries to leap past you to get to you, but then you hear a and it smells like it shit itself.
Trying to get past me, bastard.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly.
So next up is OP.
Well, I will try and kick him.
Okay.
The guy
So
shouting
you
something.
move in front to be
Well, yeah. So yeah. So I'll move in front.
I'll say you guys can stand abreast of each other. They're kind of poorly organized, so they've just learned how to swap places, but you guys can stand shoulder to shoulder, so go for it.
I'll do that. The guy who shot himself.
Mhm.
The one for that guy.
Mhm.
Fuck, 10.
10. In total? That misses. So your foot kind of goes, this time you judge the distance right, but you go like just past his head like that. It goes, and it doesn't hit it. But you can hit again if you want to.
I'm gonna spend some key. I'm spending 1 key
Okay, to do what?
to do a flurry of blows.
Nice, so 2 more.
2 more, yeah.
And then if you hit with one of your flurry of blows, you can choose to do like other things as well.
Okay, I'm just gonna put. Where do I keep it?
I think you have 3 key, but I don't know where it's kept.
I'll just do
just do a little separate like.
What is key?
this.
You know, chi, the concept in like kung fu. It's like that.
It's like a
Oh
special
yeah, the
tail.
different type of movements.
God damn it.
What's that one?
2.
Okay. You miss again, this time on the other side of his head. And he goes, ah! And then you have another attack.
9. I spent a. Oh, this pisses me off.
They're really
2,
precise.
5, and 4.
To be fair, that's basically what the.
Now 11. 2.
That's-
1. I'm gonna
Okay.
bend this fucking.
That's what the troglodyte rolled during one of the previous attacks when it missed all 3 times.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it rolled before. Okay, so you looked very. Your foot is like a blur going like around the outside of the troglodyte's body.
Trying to scare him.
It looks impressive, just doesn't hit them. Next up is Medela. You need to make a Constitution saving throw as the smell of this creature up in your face is starting to like take you over. So roll the Constitution check, saving throw. Just use that number over there.
Constitution and the 20?
20, yeah.
16 plus 3.
19, yeah. You feel like this stench is kind of would be dangerous to a less substantial individual, but you shrug it off easily. And you feel like now that you've overcome it, you're not going to face problems with this smell in the future. So now it's your turn. What do you want to do?
Finish them off.
Okay. You see the one in front is kind of the more.
Don't laugh!
You were doing an impression of, because that's kind of how you behave, because
Yeah,
you're a monk. She was doing like a parody of you. Just because you just
You're
missed.
a bro! It's now my turn,
Okay.
master.
So what would you like to, how are you going to attack? What are you going to do?
So I have the pooping guy and then another guy in front of me.
So the one in front of you is healthy, as
Yeah.
he was just scared by the foot going past his head,
Yeah.
but he looks healthy. The one behind him looks damaged, and the shitting guy is the one in the front, and there's another healthy one at the back. So 3 in total.
And they're quite close. So what do you think? Should I try and shoot an arrow through all of them?
They're standing next to each other.
Okay.
Also, they're literally this. They're up in our.
They're all kind of like
Okay.
So I think.
imagine like small. They're all crushed into a small space.
Yeah.
Can she
So-
try and do like a sweeping Warhammer blow? And do both of them.
The way it works is a rule called cleave, which means if you aim for the weak one, let's say, and you do enough damage to kill it and more, then that damage gets carried over into the one next to it. So your damage won't be wasted. But
Okay.
it means if you focus on a weak one, then you're more likely to hit 2.
Okay.
Do a cleave. With
Yeah.
your Warhammer.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing that any of you can do.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like a rule of the game that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can sometimes use if you want to.
Okay, the poop guy?
Yeah. Aim for poop. Well, the weak one is the one you're going for, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember if he was poopy or not.
But the weak one is the one standing behind the two.
Yeah, you can like elbow past, I'll say, because you're bigger than them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
18 plus 3?
Yeah, easily hits. Now roll your damage. 1d8 plus 1.
That was this one?
Mm-hmm.
Is it too late to do any of these kind of
Oh, you can do Divine Smite.
the
if you
divine
want to.
smite?
That basically adds extra damage to your hit with like holy energy.
Ah.
But it uses one of your spell slots, which you have, I think, 3 of or something. Yeah.
Okay. And am I allowed just one a day or can I do
Well, it's the amount of spell slots you have. So, for
Yeah.
example, Divine Smite, you add an extra 2d8, so you would roll that 3 times.
Yeah.
And it uses up one of your spell slots. And your spell slots are on your spell page, so move that one. You have 3 spell slots. So basically, you have 3 of these per long rest. So each day you can use 3 of them, If you use this divine smite now, then you would have 2 left for the rest of the day.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay? You
I'll do that.
imbue the hammer, it glows white as you strike, so right the first
Yes! I wanted it to go white.
You hear like a
So I rolled
once,
this
twice,
one
3 times.
3 times. Okay.
2?
2?
Yeah.
Does she get to re-roll?
Oh yeah, you get to re-roll the 2. Okay. So I think you get to re-roll it once, but we'll rewind. You get to re-roll 2, so roll that again.
Okay.
7, yeah, now roll again. Yeah, 5, so 12. Then, 20 plus 1, okay, is, okay, so I'll tell you what happens. So 20 is, so I can't see the maths in my head. Okay, so basically, you take a big swing, and your hammer connects with the side of the weak guy's head, and then pushes his head towards his friend's head, and then both heads hit the wall and go, and you killed 2 of them, just gone. They collapse to the ground, headless, and then the last guy just looks wide-eyed. Oh, fuck this!
Okay, go on.
Crunched. So that's what happens. And it's just like dripping off of the wall hammer.
Okay. And now there's 1 left.
Yeah, and he looks concerned.
Is that the weak one? The
No,
weak one?
he's
or
the
healthy?
he's the normal one.
All right.
You killed the weak one and the normal one, but there's one normal one left.
But there was.
And he was the poopy one.
Probably.
Because
Yeah.
he was the one who jumped at me
Yeah.
and then pooped.
Yeah. And then poo. Yeah, so that's what happened. Do you want to stay where you are or move? Or?
Is it their turn?
Next is their turn. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
I'll leave it to you because I
So-
only have 11.
The way I understand it right now, right, is that I'm standing here. This is the corridor like that. Sort of kind of like this is kind of where we're fighting.
Yeah.
I'm standing here, the poopy guy here, and Christina kind of elbowed her up to the guy.
Medela.
Oh,
Well, no, it's a little different. Basically, this guy was at the back and Medela was at the front. You guys were kind of shoulder to shoulder, right?
Because I was kicking at this guy.
Well, no, you were kicking at the one in front that's dead now.
But I thought both of them, because he was jumping at
He
me,
tried
and I
to
thought
get-
it was next to...
I think he tried to get through but failed, so he didn't even make it. He like bumped into
Oh,
his
I
friends
see,
and
I
didn't
see, I
even
see.
make
Oh,
any
all right,
progress.
so he was still in the back.
So there's 3 corpses here, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
5 feet away is this guy, and you guys are shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah.
Better,
Cool.
better understand.
So next up is the troglodyte.
Yeah.
He is going to see whether or not this situation is too
Worth
much
it.
for him. He does not make that conclusion and lunges at you. He's going to choose. He's going to go for Medela, and he's going to try to roll. He misses on the first one with his jaws, and he misses. And he misses on the second one with his claw. He's starting to sweat. And then he misses on the third claw. And then he starts to like look around, kind of embarrassed. Next up is OP's turn.
Alright, I'll again try and punch him in the face.
Okay, go for it.
11, so this time it's 16.
Clock him in the face, and I'll do the damage.
2 plus 3, 5.
5, you do 5. You see like his jaw hangs loose, like it's broken.
And then I'll do another punch.
5, did you say?
Yeah,
Cool, yeah, go on, punch again.
19.
Yeah, easily hits, roll damage.
4 plus 7.
7. You punch him again, and both of his eyes kind of go back into his head, and he looks like he can't see. He looks like he's on death's door, like hanging on by a thread. What would you like to do now?
Is there anything worth I can do? Ooh, yeah, okay. Because I can do a little move, right?
You can move, yeah.
I will move around him, so I'm kind of blocking his path from running away,
Mhm.
so that we're basically surrounding him.
Yeah, you're also, that would mean that you're flanking him, so you would get advantage to hit.
Cool.
Cool.
I'll do that.
Alright, so next up is you. What would you
Yeah.
like to do?
I'll take my dagger
Mhm.
to do the last blow.
Okay, cool. So roll twice, because you have advantage, and take the higher one.
Of this one.
Yeah. Roll again. Cool, what does your dagger say?
Plus 4.
So that hits. Now what is the damage? 1d4 plus 2.
Okay, so that's that one.
Yeah. Okay. How do you stab with it? What kind of motion do you use? He's kind of like all fucked up. What do you do?
Down his head.
Yes.
On the top of his head?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm so big, I'm all...
Yeah, so you stab him in the top of the skull and he just crumples into a pile of weird troglodyte goo. And then the combat is over. Well done.
Yay! First fight.
Wow, well done.
I mean, there were ups and downs, but
Yeah.
it was mostly down for
How
them.
can I regain my...
You're what?
You have lay on hands.
You can lay on
Health
hands yourself. You also have
Okay.
health potions. You can
Okay.
also take a short rest, which is not like a full sleep, but it allows you to roll hit dice, which is kind of like your ability to recover health before you sleep.
Yeah.
So if you guys take an hour and have a little rest,
Yeah.
you can roll 3d10, which are these ones.
Yeah.
And you can roll as many of them as you want, so you can just roll once or twice or 3 times according to how high you roll to get back to whatever health you want to get back to.
Okay.
So do you guys want to take a short rest?
I think that might be prudent. Do we don't get any key or spell slots back for our short rest?
You, some people do. It depends on the class. You'd have to find where it's kept.
Right.
I also love this feature. You can hold your breath indefinitely.
Yeah. That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah. So theoretically, you could swim underwater forever.
Yeah. I don't
But
need
unlike a fish, you're just holding your breath.
Luckily, I'm made out of air, yo.
It's one of the coolest things. I mean, its usefulness is, I don't know, who knows, but it's just hilarious. Fitness on special defense, fitness on special arts. Oh, there you go. Oh, short rest. Yeah, you get your key points back on a short rest. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
that's cool.
Oh, me.
So you get your key
I didn't
point back.
waste it then, because I was
Yeah.
like, God damn it, I wanted to keep my key so I could just be like, at the, whatever it was going to be at the end of this time, because these were just the warm-up. These are just minions, isn't it?
They look like more like rabid versions of the troglodytes that you saw before in the caves, or more sort of organized and civilized. These guys
is
have
it
gone
more
mad.
what I would have expected out of troglodytes? Or?
Yeah, it's more what you would have expected.
So I have the lay on hands, but that one looks like a per long rest.
Yeah, so that one doesn't come back for long rest, but you also haven't used any of them yet, so you
No.
still have 15. Did you roll your hit dice?
No,
Okay, so let's roll.
that was that one.
Yeah, let's do that one.
3 times, is it?
As many as you want, so we'll see what the first one is. That's a 1. Okay, so you got 1 more health point, so you're on 12 now. So yeah, you probably want to roll it again.
Is it 1 every hour?
What,
Oh.
hit your hit dice you get back each day, but you only use hit dice during short rests.
Oh,
So
and
short rest is when you sit down for an hour and take a breather.
Maybe we
You-
can eat.
Yeah, you eat, you take a little rest.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But and you get all those hit dice back the next day. But you've
Oh,
only
so you
got
get
3
3 a
hit
day.
dice per day.
I
Per
see.
day.
Okay.
So roll again. What does it say?
No.
9?
9, that's much better. So 9, you're on 21,
Should we just
Uh,
roll the last
20,
one as well?
20.
isn't it? 9
Yeah.
plus 12 is 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you put it in, should we just roll the other one?
Okay.
Before you put
Yeah,
before you put before.
It's just being very organized.
We can remember 21.
I don't know if we can. Oh, that's a 10. Nice. So you get all your hit points back. Yay!
Yay!
But now you need to mark off all of your hit dice with those little tiny dots.
Okay.
Is it down here? This is hit dice down.
No, those are death saves. Hit dice is actually, no, there isn't it. Just mark down like 3 used or whatever. Cool. We're at a little. You can get your key points back. I don't think you lost any health, did you?
I didn't know. No.
Cool. All right. So you see to your right is a little passage that sort of winds down to the south, and there's a long passage that goes to the east because you're currently facing the east, and it goes on and on and on, and you need to go down there and see what's down there.
So which way did we come from?
You came from west, so remember you keep like
Before.
winding around, right?
Yep.
So at the moment you're facing east. Just imagine the map is always north, imagine the top of the map is north, because it always is. And you turned to the right, east, and you're currently facing east.
Yeah.
And there's a passage to your right, which would be south, and then there's west where you came from. And there's also straight ahead of you, and at what looks like an intersection about 60 feet ahead. But you can barely see it because it's a long passage.
I'll start by picking up my boomerang,
Okay.
which I guess would be somewhere around the head.
Yeah, it's still like in the neck. You go pull it out.
I'll do the saying, put it in my thing I haven't.
It should probably have come back to you, but because you're in a narrow passage, that seems unlikely.
And if it got stuck in his.
Yeah. I'll figure out how that works later. Cool. So where would you like to go?
How do I do the?
Pull up the dagger.
Nice.
Did I
Take
do
it
that?
out of the skull. I
Yeah.
just assumed you just.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Cool.
And then I'll mark the passage that we came from with
You- I think-
another arrow.
Okay. I think you
Because I did that
but-
further down.
Yeah.
I just
so
want
now
to make sure that
it's also
visible.
further down. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just so it's visible for us if we go past the thing we came. Go down the long passage that forks or cross. Yeah. Fuck. Cool. Yeah, that's what we do.
You go down the long way.
Yeah.
Okay. You go down the long passage. After about 60 feet, you come to an intersection, and straight ahead of you, the passage just continues. To the right of you, you see what could be some more weird troglodytes in the distance, and to the left of you, you see a knight in sort of armor that was once shining, but has no longer shines. And the knight says, I know your quest is to slay the great monster. I'll help you if you solve 2 of my favorite riddles. And he sounds, roll an insight check.
18, 20.
He sounds a little mad. And about 60 feet away, he's just standing there, sort of saying this to you. And he runs round the corner of this passage to the north and says, At my heels you nip in this game we play, but cursed is the maze and lost am I. So who's chasing whom? Oh, who's to say? The front is the back, hello is goodbye, and then he just goes off down the passage.
Is there anything else in this room there?
It's just a long passage that he was standing in.
He was just standing in this passage.
Like almost like he was waiting for you.
Trixies.
So he wanted us to answer these riddles. Why? Because he was going to help us.
Mad.
So how can we trust him? I don't trust him.
What's a guy doing in
Yeah.
this tunnel standing around anyway? I kind of want to know what it's all about though.
Roll an insight check.
19 plus 1.
Plus 2.
21.
21. You don't get the sense that he was evil. You get the sense that he's a bit sort of like, a bit sort of like, almost like a childlike enthusiasm. Just with like a mad scientist almost, but not an evil one. That's just the vibe you get.
I feel like we should explore this. It might even, I mean, even if we end up getting some information on it, because we're stuck in this thing as well.
Okay.
We're stuck in a maze right now.
Yeah, maybe we can ask him some questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Run after him.
Yeah.
We go after him.
Okay. You run after him and turn to the left, and there's a door. Like right there as soon as you turn left.
It's closed.
Mm-hmm.
Can we, just before we turn, can we just make a little mark?
Mm-hmm. You do an arrow on the wall, same way you've done before?
Yeah.
Cool. Alright. You open the door? Okay. You open the door and you see the knight disappearing at the end of the corridor to the right. Just disappearing as you open the door.
What other options were there? Running into a room filled with,
Baddies.
yeah,
We'll continue straight down.
could be that bad, like East Stage, like in the way of something, or is this a different room?
No, nowhere else is in here. When we felt like there were more troglodytes, did we have any idea of how many we thought it was? Did we hear one? Did we hear?
It was a fair bit down. It looked very similar to the group from before.
So let's say between 3 and 5. Maybe. We could just, I mean, we charge up on them. Just to get it all.
We don't, like, I feel we're not secured anymore in terms of them running up, flanking us.
Do you prefer to do what?
Did they see us?
Who, the troglodytes that
Yeah.
you saw? No, it was a fair way away.
Should we continue into the maze?
Or ignore all the police things?
Yeah.
Ignore the guy? Or
No,
run
follow-
after the guy?
Yeah, follow that.
Yeah, Let's do that.
You do what?
We run after the guy.
Okay.
See where this leads.
You go down the passage and turn to the right,
Yeah.
and you see him just disappear on the passage to the left at the end of the corridor.
So again, do sign.
Making sure we do marks and then following after.
Okay. Okay, you do a mark, and then you go to the end of the corridor and turn to the left. You see a much shorter corridor, about 15 feet, that continues to the left, and you see the knight disappearing down the left. Make an investigation check.
I do a 1.
1.
Yeah.
Roll again.
9.
9. Roll 1d4.
3.
Okay, you run around the corner and stop abruptly as you see the knight disappear, and you drop 3 copper pieces from your purse. Just sort of spills out as you stop suddenly.
Just pick them back up again.
Yeah. Cool. What would you do now?
Why did you stop abruptly?
Well,
It was just
it's just
a
part of the
roll.
story. Like, I had to tell you what you see, so technically you.
I did it.
I was just
Unless-
thinking if there was something there.
I just always assume you stop unless you tell me I keep going, for example,
Yeah.
because I haven't described what happens.
Yeah. So from here we still see there now?
You saw him disappear to the left at the end of the corridor.
Okay.
But were there? Can you also go to the right?
No, it's only
It's
been
al-
one
it's only
single
been
corridor
once, yeah.
since you went through this way.
So we just keep running after.
Okay. You fall down through the ground into a pit, and you take 5 bludgeoning damage.
Both of us?
I ran in front.
I'll say you were in the front, so it just happens to the monk. Cool. So you're in a pit.
Yeah.
It's about 10 feet deep.
10 feet.
Yeah. But you're a monk. You reckon you could probably parkour your way out there.
I'll try
But
and
you
do
took
this.
a bruising when you fell down. So
Yeah.
parkour. Give me an acrobatics check or something.
Acrobatics 14.
Yeah. You wall jump your way out, and then you have to like skirt around it. And I assume you follow down the passage. Yeah. Okay. As you turn the corner, you see a group of troglodytes about halfway down the passage, and then at the end of the passage, the knight disappears off to the left down another passage.
So how did it pass?
So he might not be real then. Okay. Does it? The troglodytes, do they see us?
No, they're about 30 or 40 feet away, and they look to be like eating a piece of meat or something off the ground.
I just like go back around the corner so they don't see us.
Okay.
So
Do
that
you
we-
follow?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Just
you
like
go
this.
back the way you came.
Yeah, just around the corner.
Okay. You suddenly turn around, and the view of the passage changes completely, and you see the knight standing in a doorway at the far side of a large room, a room that wasn't there before. And he says, "You solved my first riddle. Now you can find the missing piece to finish my collection." And then he points to the shelves in this room above the doorway that he's standing in, and then he steps through the door, and then the door closes behind him. The first 2 shelves, well, you're about 25 feet away. Do you want to look at the shelves?
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 shelves have 2 small statues, and the third one has only 1 statue. The first shelf statues are a black cat and a violin. The second shelf has a statue of a cow and a crescent moon. The third statue has a silver fork. Sorry, the third shelf has a silver fork statue, and then nothing. And in the room, on the other side, is a large table covered with many small statues, like a statue of a cake and a spinning wheel and a basket of laundry, a spoon, a sword, a crow, and a toy soldier.
Right.
So he's looking for the missing.
Yeah, so we need to figure out, I guess, what would they, the 3 of them that's already there have in common, and then decide which one of the table which one belongs with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
So,
there was a cow, there was a moon crescent, there was a cat, there was a silver spoon.
how many were there on the shelves?
So 2 on the top, 2 on the middle, 1 on the bottom shelf. Statues.
All right, so there was 5. Right, and then you want, so this must be 6. Can you say again what the repeat?
So we need to go to the table and bring one back to the shelf, right?
Well, you can't ask him that.
You
Oh,
presume,
so-
you're not sure. That's what you've pieced together so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can write down the statues on the shelves if you want. Top
Yeah.
shelf has
Cat.
a black cat and
The top shelf has a black cat.
a violin.
Then which one is on which side?
That is the order. I'm going to describe them left to right.
Cool.
Second shelf has a statue of a cow and then a statue of a crescent moon. And the third shelf has a statue of a fork, a silver fork.
Is it in the middle or
To the left.
to the left?
Yeah.
So we go. And what was the? If we then go to the table, what were the?
Objects.
Yeah.
A cake. These are statues. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say statue every time.
Yeah.
Cake, spinning wheel, like those ones that go like.
Oh, all right.
A basket of laundry, obviously a smaller one, it's not to scale. Toy soldier,
Laundry. Table. Soldier.
a spoon, a sword, and a crow.
All right. Okay. Then what's the riddle here then? Could be like a crow, so we got like an animal on each. Could be obviously the spoon because it works with the fork somehow. But then cow, crescent moon, black cat, and violin. How do they fit together? Do they fit together, or is it like a thing? Is it like the first letter?
I was thinking the first letter, but that one doesn't work. That one is EC and ECB.
I mean, I wonder what might happen if we take one
Yeah,
and it's wrong.
yeah,
Might be bad.
yeah.
We might be fucked. Might not like us at all anymore. Might be pissed. It might just be that nothing happens. That would be odd because then we could just try them all until we find which one's right. But because we don't quite know exactly, is there anything else around the room? Is it like
It's
these
just
shelves?
the table with the statues and the shelves with the statues and the doorway sort of to the left of the shelves that he disappeared through, and that's it.
Did he have anything on his armor? Like a crest?
Make a retrospective perception check.
Okay.
20.
20, natural 20.
Yeah.
You saw that his armor looked very old and sort of pockmarked and pitted. And if there was an emblem there, it has long since worn away. And it's surprising to see armor so old on a living person.
Because he's not living here.
Okay, so is there any type of insight or perception we should be doing in that room? Or should you be checking your books or your...
You can both make a history check, either both separately or one with advantage. It's up to you.
I mean, I think maybe if I do it with advantage, because my history is +2,
Mine is just +1.
so
Okay.
I might have a.
Yeah?
I'll do one with advantage.
Let's do it.
11. 2, so 11.
Okay.
So 13.
You remember that something about the objects reminds you, the ones on the shelves, something about them remind you of a nursery rhyme you heard when you were a kid that your mum used to tell you. Not. What did you roll again? Not with an 11, no.
Okay, so if you remember that information, can I try and remember the actual nursery rhyme?
Sorry, say that again.
So if he remembers it's connected to a nursery rhyme but can't remember it, can I try and remember it?
Yeah, sure. Make a history check.
9.
9. You don't remember.
I would go with either the spoon or the crow.
Yeah, same.
It's like being on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Dun 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 dun.
Black
Yeah.
cat.
Nursery rhyme shit, bro. It doesn't make sense. Let's go with the crow.
Yeah.
See what happens. I'll take
Okay.
the crow and put it next to the fork.
Okay. You see the statue touch down on the shelf, and you hear like a crackling, and you smell like ozone, and then you feel these bolts of lightning just come out of the sky, out of the ceiling, and you each take 2 damage, of lightning damage.
So that was wrong. Did this do anything else?
And you see the statue gets like, from the energy, just flies off into the wall. Just clink, a clink, clink.
Okay. No mas crow. Okay, so it wasn't.
Do we have anything in the books that we can? Do you have?
We
You
only have
one.
a book. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a book about
Monsters.
large beasts of lore.
So I don't have. Can I like try to remember again? We can't keep
It
rolling
gets,
for the
it-
sake
if you
of it.
if you fail, you can keep rolling, but the DC, like the difficulty gets higher. So you
Right.
can keep trying it, but it makes it slightly less likely. Okay?
I'll roll with an advantage then, because we're trying together to remember the
I think-
nursery rhyme.
I think you're still with advantage, it's just harder.
Yeah,
So you may not do it, but yeah, roll with advantage, go for it.
but yeah, I'm just thinking because if I can roll twice,
Yeah, go for it.
so we'll try and remember the nursery rhyme.
And you guys start singing to yourselves, is it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Roll again then. Luckily, because I rolled another one.
Nice.
20.
Well done. Okay, you remember very clearly the name of the nursery rhyme is called Hey Diddle Diddle. And it goes, hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, and the cow jumped over the moon. Something, something, and the fork ran away with the... And you can't remember the last bit.
Oh god damn it! It ran away with the spoon because it rhymes with moon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, diddle diddle diddle, something black cat and fiddle, which is a violin, right? And the cow jumped over the moon, and then something something something.
Fork ran away with the spoon.
Spoon.
Yeah. Let's take the spoon.
Take a spoon.
Okay, you put the spoon on the shelf.
Yeah.
Okay, and you see suddenly the door opens and the knight says, "Congratulations, so clever! Ah, well done. If it was a 50-50, we could have done it on the first try." The knight says, "Okay, I'm sorry I had to put you through that. I am not the man I once was. This labyrinth is cursed. It's not a part of your world." He starts to have almost like a split personality disorder. He starts talking just like a normal person. "It is built on its own pocket plane, its own part of the universe. The creature that you're searching for has found a way to push through this place into the plane of shadow, a place that is parallel to your world, but by no means the same." And he explains that, "I can show you how to get to the plane of shadow, but this is a one-way passage. You'll have to find a different way home." And he reaches into his bag and takes out a flower, and it looks to have these blood-stained petals, and he crushes it in his hand, and this rip in air opens out, and it's like a portal, and inside you can see this dark forest that looks ominous. And he says, "It's a one-way journey, good luck," and then he goes through the door.
I was hoping to do a long rest, but maybe we can do that.
How long is the portal open for?
You don't know, he's gone.
He left.
Wait!
You haven't really lost anything you couldn't get back with a short rest, as far as I can remember.
No, that's true. We ain't no bitches. We go through it, I say.
Okay.
Do you want to do some healing before we go through? With your...
Can you just heal me then?
I need a long rest to put my hand on you.
No, you still have
No.
15
Oh.
health points.
Okay,
You can
so...
heal 15 health points in total.
Oh yeah, but is it any point
Right.
if you only lost 7?
Well,
Also, if
I-
you
Can't
take
heal
a
You don't
You
need to
die?
heal. You don't need to heal me. Well, then we need to Then we need to sit around for an hour, and the portal's there now.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. So, what would it take if I do lay on hand? Because it says 15 here.
yeah, and if he's missing 7, then
Yeah.
you just minus 7 from yours, and he gets 7.
Okay.
So
You
you'll
can
still
heal me
have
for more,
8 left. Or whatever.
Yeah,
And then we'll just because if we end up going in there and there's a fight straight away,
yeah,
I don't want to be almost dead.
yeah. So I'll put my hand on you.
You get 7 health points.
Nice. And then you have 7 less you can heal.
8 left.
What?
Don't I have?
Oh, yeah, 8 left. Yeah,
Yeah.
I said you have 7 left less. And then I say we, fuck it, we'll go in.
Do we have like weapons ready?
I don't do weapons, babe.
Okay.
No, but I do weapons. I have.
I have my hammer.
You have your hammer ready. Alright, you go through.
I also have a short sword and a dagger. I just need to double check. I might need to do a little bit of because I have 2 unarmed strike for some reason in the list of
That's weird. You
So
must,
some-
yeah.
something must have done happened. Let me just. Is what are these? How much damage this thing does? Give me 1 sec. Equipment. Because I do have this dagger. How much damage does that do? That's 1d4 plus 5. I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it? No, sorry. I also have like a short sword, just a regular short sword, but I can't remember what that damage does.
You also only get your sort of bonuses to monk weapons.
But I think a short sword was, it said that a short sword was a thing.
Yeah, it probably is a monk weapon, but we just have to check on it.
Hang on. So equipment. D6 plus 3. Okay. So how do I check that?
Check what?
If it's a monk weapon.
Oh, that's okay. We'll check it later on. I'll just assume it is if it's a
Because
small weapon.
I picked it because when they were talking about like the monk weapons for these kind of things, then it used short sword as an example.
Oh, perfect. All right, that's great then.
So then I'll just fill this in quickly here.
Cool.
Instead of on strike, sorry. Where do you put them? Short sword is the list.
Why do we have so much weapons?
Well, you do as well, but you hadn't equipped them, remember?
Okay.
You like have a bunch of them, like longbow, a dagger, a hammer. That's already, and he's got an unarmed strike as well, so that's like 4.
I have 4 as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he's put one in there twice, so he's replacing it with something else.
Plus 3. Here's Bumble Bees, notes. Here's, how do I know what the hit thing is? That would be the same as all the other ones, right?
If it's a short sword, it'll be. What other weapons do you have?
The boomerang, the quarterstaff. The quarterstaff came up as. Oh, that does the same damage. That's annoying. Okay, well, I'll equip my quarterstaff.
Okay, cool. That's definitely a monk weapon.
Yeah.
And you've already got the stats for that.
Yeah,
Alright, cool.
yeah,
So
sorry.
you go through the portal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You go through the portal. It goes behind you and closes, and you see a dark forest stretch out in every direction. It's cold, dark, it looks like the dead of night. It's slightly unnerving. There's a cold wind that just seems to be like gently blowing into you, and it doesn't seem very pleasant.
Not nice. So there's just forest everywhere. Can we do like a? Is it dark? As in feels like night, or is it like?
It feels like night,
Yeah.
but
We
an
don't-
unnatural sort of night. You don't
May-
really
may
know
not.
if it
So,
changes.
can
Yeah,
I
exactly.
cast pass without trace?
You can.
Does that mean we pass through without anyone noticing
It just means
us?
you're really, really stealthy.
Yeah.
So you get to add 10 to your stealth rolls.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that for both of us?
Yeah, anyone within, I think, 20 feet of you.
Yeah.
So you got to stay huddled together.